I know. I'm telling you.
It's typical fashion.
So we are up. We are live.
Live.
Welcome to the cooking show.
What's up, everybody? We have a special guest for you guys today. The man, the myth, the legend, the flat top king.
Typically, I've been called worse, but we'll start with that.
Top king. I thought you were talking about me, Ryan.
How you guys doing?
You know, I rehearsed that like
Good,
10 times. I'm like, don't say noob, don't say noob, don't say noob.
Don't say new.
My intro is always welcome to the flat top noob. And I'm sitting there going, don't say noob, don't say noob, don't say noob. So,
That's it.
all right, Neal, I thank you very much for coming on this show, especially for us little guys. That means the world.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
So Neal, the one thing, how did you get originally started doing YouTube? I've watched a ton of your videos over the years, but I don't know if ever how it all started or what made you want to do it, or obviously
I think,
you love cooking and doing that, and you've probably been doing that forever.
yeah, so cooking is a big part of my background from the Navy. Fantastic opportunities after the Navy. We owned a few restaurants, moved to Wyoming, then became an executive chef at a steakhouse and really got my feet wet there, and just realized quickly the amount of hours, the time, the Friday nights, the weekends, all nights, all weekends where you're going to make it and be successful. I had a young family at the time, and I found myself more of a family man than I did like chasing the dreams per se.
Yeah.
And I knew that by the time I got off work, then basically my kids would be in school. By the time I went to work, my kids would be asleep. And I was like, I got to find something different. So me being able to cook on the porch kind of like scratches that itch. And
Yeah.
I think like most people, when they start, I don't think that you ever think that you're going to be successful. That was never our goal. Actually, the pandemic started. I found myself on social media way more than what I'd ever imagined. I'm not really a social media guy. And some things kind of irked me that I knew factually, culinarily, that was just wrong. And I would look at the subscribers and the views, and it just blew my mind. And I'm like, how that is not true. That is false. Like that is lying almost, borderline. And so I told my wife one day, and I said, I think I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I didn't even look it up. So you're talking about starting from the ground up. Like I didn't know how to do an intro. There is stories, horror stories you can imagine of us. I don't speak clearly, especially when I'm not in an authentic style situation to where I have to rehearse. Like I would never be a good actor because I couldn't rehearse lines. I have a problem retaining, probably why I was so bad at school, but I can't retain information. But for some reason, cooking just puts it all in perspective where you're cooking with your hands. It's like a visualization, and I can really get a hold of like what's happening. And when we started, man, it was a dumpster fire. And then my wife would start creating scripts for me because I literally could not speak. And it wasn't because I was camera shy. I just found myself just wandering with words, not getting direct to the point.
Yeah.
So to get direct to the point, it was because of the pandemic. And I just found myself with extra time and being on social media. I was like, man, if they can do it, I want to try it. And if you notice when we first started, it was the Charcoal King, because my ultimate passion has always been like cast iron and coal, live fire cooking. And being from the griddle side, there was one video, even if you go back and watch it now, what was that called? Gasket seal review. And I almost deleted that video, and it actually turned out to be my number one video forever. And the whole premise of it was I was replacing a huge old smoker that we had, just the gasket, because it kept leaking. And I even asked in the video, I'm on the verge now of buying a pellet smoker. What are your guys' recommendations? Well, everybody gave me the recommendations, and you don't know what happens when you type in something to Google or to the search bar. Everything pops up, and it keeps popping up. Next thing you know, I found there's a Camp Chef griddle for sale, and I'm like, griddle? Like I didn't even know they made these things for residential. And I just brought up so much passion from the Navy, being a cook in the Navy. And I'm like, I think instead of getting a pellet grill, I'm going to be a flat top grill. And next thing you know is back ordered because of the pandemic. You couldn't buy anything.
All right.
And I signed up for that little email, notify me when it comes in. And I was at the dentist office and I'm like, oh, it just came in. It just came in. I want to get it now. And she's like, okay. So I ordered it. And as I say, it took us about a year, actually, once we had it, to realize that the views from that were far outpacing the views from charcoal and cast iron. And then we eventually just switched over the name and everything else because we knew that's where we wanted to be.
Yeah, and grills are going to dominate the gas grill market. If they didn't,
I think so.
probably,
I think
they have passed it now.
I think they're a massive part of the companies now. From my relationships with them, it doesn't seem like they're slacking off at all. The research and development is being spent heavily on griddles, how to make them better, how to make them more efficient, how to make them more user friendly. I think they've heard all of our gripes, complaints, and wants as much as we can give them. And I know for a fact that multiple teams break them down, rebuild them, look at the competition, and try to get better every single day.
Yeah.
And if they're doing that, then they're here to stay for now. I mean, they're not going to go away tomorrow. I can tell you that.
No.
That's the good thing about competition, man. It gets everybody better. Take ideas. It's kind of like Samsung versus iPhone. You've got more competitors out there. They all have this kind of idea, and they're all competing against each other, which makes ultimately a better product for everybody.
And not only does it make a better product for everybody else, it also keeps the people
down.
that started originally, it keeps them trying to get better to stay pace with the people that have already beat them.
Yep.
And I think that's what's really cool. And you can really see it in some of the griddles that are going to come out this spring. I'm very impressed with the technology, with the, I think griddle cooking is more of a preference, like most everything else. Do you put ketchup on your hot dogs? Do you like beans in your chili? I mean, it's amazing how many cuss words can be thrown because somebody cooks something you don't like, And I just never experienced that until we started this thing. It never dawned on me.
That's funny.
With griddles, I think it's the same thing, like there's different price points for people.
Oh, yeah.
There's different aesthetics, the different sizes of why you want your griddle. We mentioned earlier before we went live, 22 inches for a lot of people that travel, or there's just two people and they want a smaller footprint. That's the bigger ones, So
that's why I got that 22 inch, was because I got that 36. We've got one kid at home left, and that's it. It's me, my wife, and him. When I get home at night, they've already eaten. I don't want. Like I said, I cook on that thing all the time. I don't want to fire that 36 inch all the time. Just go grab that 22 inch, fire it up, make me a burger, make me my egg sandwich that I like to make at the end of the day or what have you, and wipe my hands and move on with my night.
Yeah.
So the 22 inch, the 36 inch works great for me too. So it's like you said, it's just, but we were talking about the new one that Blackstone come up with, and I guess it's because of the weight, but they're doing the aluminum with the
camping griddle
with the ceramic top, and that turns me off.
Yeah,
the camping griddle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I just found that out
because I was going to buy it. So was Doug, but that turns me off. I don't want the ceramic top. I would rather take the extra 10, 15 pounds than to have a ceramic top.
Yeah, I was super excited about that griddle because I was going. It was small and compact. It fit in my camper real easy, but I ain't going to buy it now.
No, I did see Todd advertise, of course, with Blackstone, and I saw all the cool things that came out with. I was more interested in the decals on the Jeep. To be honest, I was like, man, that's pretty awesome. But and I got a bad taste in my mouth from the first one. I don't want anything. Each to their own. If they want to get it, they can get it. But no, I won't step foot in that arena again.
Well, Doug had that E series, and he threw it away in the video. Started chipping away on him.
Chuck that son of a bitch! What a waste of money. Well, not really. I mean, I used it for 2 years probably. Used the crap out of it, but the nonstick wears off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the point now where I would much rather have somebody else try it and say they have had.
What are you doing, Rob?
Incredible success with it, and then me try it versus me being the one out there saying I've had it for 3 months and it hasn't broken down yet, when in reality I still had a lot of faith in it. And then eventually Tom. And then when you got to come on here and say that I messed it up, because I really felt like it was my fault.
What's
Because I
that?
did use metal utensils. I did use high heat. I did oil it a lot,
No,
which
you're talking
looking
about the
back, I think
pit
all those were wrong decisions at the time. But while you're inside of the decision, you don't know it's wrong. You know, you're given the free light to try different avenues and different ideas. You know, looking back, I think I picked every single left turn. Like I don't think I ever made one right decision, and it was all based off of if it is armor coated, if it is ceramic coated, if it is that tough. Let's see how tough it can be.
Yeah.
So I'll let somebody else go down that rabbit hole. I'm not.
I don't
touching
think any of them will last. You know,
that's and the price point for that one was $150,
the
and
camping griddle, yeah.
right, and
Not to mention the tools you use. Man, I can't scrape anything with that.
yeah.
I know it's not supposed to stick to begin with, but eventually when it does start sticking,
Oh, it
and then
does stick.
the silicone and nylon that you're using, or wood or whatever, just nothing. Once it starts going, everything else follows.
Oh yeah,
suit.
this was horrible. The E-Series was horrible.
But
Even
then,
with
but
the
then
oil down, it stuck.
Yeah,
It was horrible.
I thought the oil stuck to the oil.
Yeah, exactly. So I bought. Are you familiar with the Vevor griddles? Have you heard of Vevor?
I'm familiar with V4, and then I was familiar with them based on your channel because I know you did a smash burger on there, and that crust looked like probably
It's
one of the better
unbelievable.
crusts
It's the
I've ever
best.
seen.
Now, it's best smash burger crust ever of any in my griddles. But I treat it like a commercial griddle because I come from a restaurant background. Now, everybody I see on YouTube that's got them, they seasoned them like a Blackstone. I got my cleaners, you know, I got my commercial cleaners I used to use in restaurants. You know, use my
No,
lemon
stainless steel and griddle cooking's a whole different world. It's about as different as ceramic and regular.
Yeah.
You treat it different, you clean it different. That's a whole different night and day.
Yeah,
So
he
that's
gave me crap. He gave me crap because I bought the 22-inch Blackstone over that V4 one. I was like, I wanted the Blackstone.
Well, I mean,
It's just-
Vevor's inside. I like it in the wood.
I'll end up getting one, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Now, do you take your Vevor outside at all?
I have. I took it camping with me. I plugged in the power at the campground. It uses a lot of power though for 110. It maxes it out.
Would
I have it plugged in, and one of my lights in my hallway is like dim.
with the stainless steel and all the humidity in St. Louis, how do you think it would fare on the back deck?
Oh, it'd be
Or the
fine. It
porch.
doesn't rust.
Huh?
It's stainless. It won't rust. I think it's badass. And it's $100. I paid $115 for it. It'll push 600 degrees. It's got good heat retention. That's where that E-Series was so thin, man. You couldn't even see our smash burger on it. You dropped a few burgers, or whatever, and man, that you watch the little gauges go halfway down, and it took forever to recover. You know? They both take forever to heat up. I mean, it's like 15, 20 minutes to get it up to 350, 400 degrees, but that's probably the biggest downfall. But once you get there, you know, you've seen the smash burger I made on there. It's unbelievable. And it's harder to do on a seasoned griddle because they want to break, they don't want to stick.
One thing I've learned, especially doing reviews, the more experience I get, the more different I see. It's not necessarily about what I like. It's just about showing the features of the griddle because my opinions ultimately it shouldn't matter because, whether to have caster wheels, like I move my griddles around a lot. That shouldn't matter to the average person that doesn't move their griddle around often, So I've kind of switched gears in the fact of how I will review this spring. And I'm just going to let the griddles talk the way it is. It's either going to heat even. It's either going to be hot or cold. It's going to take X amount of time to heat up. And that's just the information I'm going to relay. Because ultimately, with that smash burger, like you're talking about on that Beaver, it spoke for itself. There's no way that you could have said that, it just did exactly. That was one of the better crusts that I've ever seen on a burger.
That was the first one I did in my review video, brand new out of the box. That's why I cooked in it, and it's like, holy crap.
So
I scraped that bitch off and flipped it. I'm like, holy crap. That's picture.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If I had that one flip, you'd have seen that in about 20 different styles of editing and all that stuff. It'd have been an 85-minute video of slow-mo, slam it fast.
I paid $200 for that E-Series. I paid $115 for but you can see over here, I kept my E Series cart. It's my bar here. I threw it, and then at the end of I did a comparison video with my E Series to the Vivor, and at the end of that video, I go outside and I throw my Blackstone in the trash can.
Hey,
That's
since
what
we're
I
all
did.
like griddle like related, you know what I want to see, and I'm not going to be the one that jumps on the ship first. But have you ever went on Blackstone's website and looked at like their expensive griddles?
Yeah,
I wonder just how good they are.
you tell like
I
the
mean,
built-ins and stuff.
well, I mean, they've got like I'm gonna try to pay attention to you guys, but I think they got like $4,000 griddles.
Yeah, they're the built-in ones, and they're like the same thing. It's a joke.
I'm going to get one.
Get it, Rob?
No.
$4,000. I'm buying me a nice Vulcan.
I'll get two. I'll buy one.
I mean, that's what
I'm getting me a thermostatically controlled commercial griddle.
I just wonder if the actual griddle itself is any different than the outdoor kitchen.
I don't think so.
So like the outdoor kitchen, right? So they got one for
Sorry,
Yeah,
so
so
one's $16.99, $24.99,
$6,000.
Holy crap.
Well, that's with all the cabinets and stuff.
Yeah. But
One's
this was only
$16.99 for a 30-inch electric,
that
and then
was
one's
only
$24.99 for a 36-inch premium built with griddle hood insulated jacket. But if you look at the griddle itself, looks like it's maybe it is metal. I don't know. I just can't imagine that griddle being that much more efficient, than just. I mean,
$2,500. I'm buying a commercial griddle. Bottom line, I can get a decent one for 20. Yeah, you can get one for home for under $1,000. A 36.
Yeah, but so what I plan on doing when I do that deck is I'm planning on just going ahead and just building the whole kitchen around that, and I want to get a gas oven and convert it over to propane anyway. They make those propane ovens. I just want to put a kitchen on there.
Yeah, Camp Chef does.
Yeah,
They've got of course, that whole line that they've got coming out is going to be fantastic. But
But I mean, to pay $6,000 for that, I think that's just absurd. You can buy, at that point, you can just buy the cheapest 36-inch Blackstone, take the top, insert it into a void that you build around it, and then be on with your day. Just make sure everything is level when you
can
do it.
replace it every 2 years and still come out cheaper.
Right.
The one thing I've tried to ask people: has anybody bought it? Like, I don't know how many they're selling. I don't know if it's like a big selling point. You really don't see anybody advertising them. But I would like to know how efficient. I mean, it does definitely scratch the itch. I'm not paying the money, but
if they want to send it to you, here's my address.
Yeah.
I'd be interested. I mean, I'd see. All the Blackstone griddles I've ever had, which is probably their motto, doesn't necessarily cook the most even. And I think that's the way they either engineered it or want it to be happening or whatever. But I would be interested to see, for that much money, does it have even heat? Does it have, how much power does it have? Rob was talking about how long it takes for something to recoup the amount of heat after you put food down. I think that's important. But for that amount of money, those are things that you would look for, and it wouldn't be me reviewing it. It'll just be like, hey, this is X amount of food. This is what the temperature dropped to, or this is what the temperature got to and stuff like that. I think with the Halo, we learned that we can cook off the heat a lot more than most griddles, just for the simple fact of how thick that griddle plate is.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. And so, with that Blackstone, I just wonder if it's kind of like the same thing, to where maybe, I don't know, for that amount of price, I just can't imagine a built-in is that much different.
Well, I wonder if those are geared towards people that have money that spend stupid stuff and they don't know no better.
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
just buy it. My uncle was that way. My uncle.
Oh no, that's a whole other world now.
Well, yeah, my uncle was that way.
Mexico's got some expensive regular ones. They have like it's called the Patio series. So they have an air fryer one that's called the Patio. It's $1,500 a day.
Yeah.
Who?
Blackstone.
Oh.
It's just more
aesthetic. But the griddle still is based off the original. It's just all the bells and whistles.
Walmart.
Yeah. So I know one thing. It's going to be a busy spring. There's a lot of, for the people interested, there's a lot of competition swinging full bore this year. I can tell you that. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see where the chips fall. So
yeah,
there's some pretty pieces of equipment coming out soon, huh?
Todd Tobin said, I think 54 new Blackstone just Walmart items. because he does all the Walmart stuff, and that's not including stuff they'll make for Lowe's, the culinary stuff, and whatever, special edition stuff for the different companies. But a lot of stuff coming out.
So I was at Walmart this morning, and Walmart's got that brand. I guess it's Walmart's brand, Expert Grill, right? So there, I was looking over there, was trying to find that griddle just to see what it was going to look like in the package and all that stuff. Take some funny pictures or whatnot. And I come across that griddle this morning, and I shared it with these guys this morning. I got it for $38. $38.
That's a poor guy grill.
That's a poor. I mean, but it's like, is it a 17 or 18-inch griddle? But it's just a one burner.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably take that one, open it up, do an unboxing on that one, because it seems like all those videos do great. The cookie ones not so much on my side anyway. But the refurb stuff, all of them do fantastic. But I am gonna probably, instead of seasoning it outside on the propane, I'm gonna season the whole thing in the oven and see what it does. Just to see if, because I seasoned the other one outside first and then re-seasoned it more to finish it off in the oven later. I just want to season the whole thing to see what it does. Because you did the same thing on yours though too, didn't you, Neal? You seasoned it outside and then you finished it off in the oven. I want to see what it looks like without seasoning it outside. See what it does.
Edge to edge. I mean, that's the good thing about
edge to edge.
You only have so much limit. You have a lot more limitations when it comes to propane because your fire hits the bottom of it and then it spreads. And I think that's why there's so many cool spots on so many griddles that the fire is not reaching close enough and the heat retention is not on the metal. Yeah. You throw it in the oven, it's surrounded by your 450 degree heat, for an hour. So that's way more than what you'd be seasoning a griddle anyway. So it's perfect for it.
Well, and I've taken this from you, and I just can't stay away from it. I don't know why. When you said it in the video, it stuck in my head, and I can't, for some reason, I can't do anything else. Avocado oil, because of the high heat. And I know you've used other stuff. I'm so inexperienced. When somebody like you talks, I listen. So avocado oil is all I know. So I'm sure there's something else. My brother, like I said, he uses that Blackstone crap that they come with. Somebody else told me lard. We talked about that earlier, but I can't stay away from the avocado oil for some reason.
I usually just use canola because I have it.
I can't break that cycle. Yeah. But what I want to know is, and I don't know. What I want to know is, does the food taste different from a certain season from one griddle to a certain season from another?
I don't think so. I think Doug's right. I think it's more this. Now the seasoning. I just wanted to clarify. And I think this is where you get into the science, and like this is why my videos run so long. And I really try to help people ultimately, and I feel like there's so much information that gets edited out because I don't want my videos to be too long. But let's just talk about like a standard 36-inch griddle or even a 3-burner. My Weber 3-burner is a lot smaller footprint than the Traeger 3-burner. If you turn on 2 burners and you're typically, even if let's say a 36-inch Blackstone, okay, let's just start with that for the base. You turn all 4 burners on. If all 4 burners, for whatever reason you need it for, hit that seasoning temperature, but you're only throwing a few burgers down, you're only throwing a few this down, that's why I kind of season with avocado oil. I've actually switched to grapeseed oil. I found like I've had more success with it over long term, but I only do the initial seasoning with it. So, okay, let's back up. I told you I can't speak. The reason is because you can actually season the griddle during your cook, right? So we just did a video today, and I said, well, my griddle's smoking, so I know I'm up to the smoke point, so I know how hot that is. Well, the oil that I use at that time is avocado oil. So what happens when you season a griddle? You bring it up to a smoke point, you let the smoke dissipates, and then you reapply it. But you can do all that while you're cooking. So if you're not using your whole griddle and you're only using half the griddle, that I do agree with Doug 100%. The oil that you use to actual season it probably won't matter as much. But if you get in the habit of using a good oil while you are cooking, then you can maintain your griddle a lot more effortlessly throughout the process of going back and forth, because it's already on the griddle. So you move your food over or turn all your 4 burners on. You're using half your griddle, and go ahead and put oil down on the left side of your griddle if you're using the right side. Let it come up to a smoke point and let that stuff burn off. Now you've got one layer on there just for a simple fact of you coming out. Now, I wouldn't recommend that with all the oils that people would recommend, like olive oil and stuff like that. But if you're using a good high smoke point and oil and you're doing that cooking and you're cooking with that consistently, then I just think it makes it easier. I mean,
Well, and see, as a noob, as soon as I see one thing work, I'm scared to do anything else, and I know I'm going to have to get my toes wet eventually, and I won't be a noob. But when somebody that I feel knows what they're talking about, I shut up and I listen.
well, look at this comment right here. I use grapeseed oil at the end of every cook and add a layer of seasoning. So adding the oil at the end of the cook is a layer of oil. What you do to the oil after that determines whether or not it's going to be a layer of seasoning, right?
Well,
If you
so
add a layer of oil while your griddle's cooling down, it's not going to polymerize. But that layer of oil is on there, so the next time you turn your griddle on, if you happen to wait till your smoke dissipates, then you just put a whole layer on there. But that might be too hot for eggs. It might be too hot for some of the stuff that you're doing. So,
but that's what I do. I do
but
that. After each cook, I put that layer of oil, and when I fire it up, I let it all burn off before I even start.
Well, it builds layers. Trust me. I had one of my
Well,
first Blackstones. I went 5 years before I redid the top on it, and I mean
yeah,
that stuff was like it was so thick, like wire brushes wouldn't even affect it. I had to go buy an angle grinder with a flat disc. It take days to clean this thing. But
yeah.
I ended up giving it away. That's like
well,
3 months.
I know my channel is for entertainment purposes only. Don't be 100% listening to my ass when I'm doing stuff because I might be wrong.
Well, I don't
You
know.
know?
I think it's more than just entertainment there, Ryan.
Huh?
It's more than entertainment.
It's
It
educational.
is.
People are like, yeah, don't do this. They learn.
Right.
Well, hey, whatever.
You need to have that scroll,
Yeah.
like warning, and it keeps coming down like,
Yeah. Like the noob saved me on this one.
Well, we did that 100 subscriber. I know I'm small. My other channel is a little bit bigger, but
we all start somewhere.
but,
Yeah.
but that 100 subscriber live show, my son come down because he started to see what I was doing. I roasted the heck out of that video I did when I seasoned that 36-inch Blackstone.
That was
I
funny.
roasted it. I started talking to the video like I was talking to somebody else and not me. Like he said he screwed up. Well, I said I screwed up, but it was funny. I'm sorry.
Oh, dude.
Hey, let's say hi to Buzz Barbecue and Zeb Allgood.
And Annie Smoking Pot was
Andy
on here too.
Spot is here.
So funny story. She was supposed to be on this weekend. That's why I thank you so much, Neal, for doing this. She got bronchitis. So Wednesday when I messaged you, Neal, she had messaged me saying I don't have a voice. I can't come on. And let's shout out to her for happy birthday because I think her birthday's tomorrow, and she was really excited about coming on here tonight, and she just couldn't do it.
Okay, happy birthday.
So,
Yeah, happy birthday.
Annie.
And then earlier we had John from Barbecue Rockstar. John, if you're still here, hey, thank you. Zeb Allgood.
Somebody's out there doing a low country crab boil with crab legs, shrimp, andouille, potato, corn, and all the good stuff. I'm right. Send me a box.
That's Jay over there at Buzz Barbecue. He's in Arkansas.
I know it sounds crazy. Listen, take those potatoes after they've been setting all that seasoning and then make like a potato patty out of it on the griddle and get it real crispy. Have some eggs, some like fresh andouille sausage or some like tasso. Holy smokes, you got a winner right there.
Yeah, I'll do a couple.
Might be another video right there. Just the leftovers from a country boil. Golly, I love those potatoes, man. They absorb all that flavor.
Oh yeah, corn soaks it up good too.
Golly, yeah.
I usually do 2 or 3 boils a year, so good stuff.
So I sent you that link for that boil, didn't I, Doug? You told me to go with that boil pot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That big one.
But that thing was like $400 or $500, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was built-in burner and everything.
You told me to buy it. And I'm like, ha, 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 ha.
There's a pot I want that's $500 just to go on my jet burner. But
Yeah, well, I need a deck before I get one of those.
it's only money.
Well, and my truck is still hasn't been
Yeah.
touched. It's
Oh, they
still
said
sitting.
good luck to your
They
old.
haven't even on that truck.
Hey,
And
Neil,
so Wednesday
question
will
for
be
you, which
3
I can't
weeks.
believe you never got a Loco griddle to test. Of all the griddles, that's like the one griddle that's like has a different feature no one has, to being thermostatically controlled.
Yeah, it just seems like the more research you do, like this is coming from zero experience. I've always said it's hard to talk about something we don't have any experience, but
Yeah.
it does take 100% power.
Yeah.
Whereas
look at them.
the idea of the Traeger taking 100% power is not true. The Traeger just uses power as some features that I don't even use.
Yeah, for your propane tank and stuff.
Exactly. But for the Loco, I mean, it just seemed like you turn the knob and it goes to the right temperature. But it seemed like, as we mentioned, I think even before this started, the retention wasn't there. So even though it says 350, then you put your food on there and then it drops, and all of a sudden you don't really have the even cooking that you thought you had.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you,
it's got to catch up.
It does. It does. I think I do. The more I cook, the more I can definitely understand that depending on what level you're on, there's always a reason why you're going to like or not like something. Retention is probably high on my list just because we go through so much food so fast. But the average person out there might not notice it as much. And I've always preached flat top grill temperatures typically doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is really and truly an egg. Other than that, most things you can skate by just by the oil smoking or the way the butter reacts. You could probably really get by with how the butter reacts, but if you want to hit a great temperature, let's say 325, 300 to 325 for eggs, but you throw 12 eggs down the griddle at 300 degrees. I don't care what griddle you're using. You just probably dropped it down to about 250. Now, how hot it gets back up is key.
Or how fast?
We talk about the halo and stuff like that because these other griddles, next thing you know, you start scrambling the eggs and start sticking to the bottom and starts getting like that thin layer on the bottom. So you got to have that heat retention somehow.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is just.
Yeah, I have the original Loco, and now they have a newer version out with a better burner design on it. And so I don't know if it works better or not.
I didn't see that one. No, I haven't even seen that one. I got my hands full what I got going on. I really try to not have. I never intended to have multiple griddles. That was never the intention. Like that was. Anyways,
that just became a thing, I guess.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, they just start popping up everywhere. And I've only got so much space. And now that we're doing pellets and pits, it's a kind of the same thing. We took the same passion, the same idea of like different price points, different features for different smokers. And that's what we try to do with the griddles. We can be a bidding war all day long with a $500 griddle. I don't think there's going to be like a hands down true winner at a $500 griddle when you're dealing with all the different companies out there, because it's who determines the winner. Like it goes back to features, it goes back to color scheme, it goes back to size, it goes back to a lot of things. And I'm not going to be out the one that says I project this one. I'm done with that. So to me, it's more about the features that the griddle offers, the functionality. And honestly, if I really like it, some of them out there I don't really. I just can't get behind that much. It just doesn't. I'm just not excited to cook. I get frustrated, and I think that's where, like with most things, you are with, with big pieces of equipment. I'm sure everybody here has bought something before and they're like, man, I wish I would have bought something different. Buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
And I've recommended stuff and people's bought it, loved it. I've also recommended stuff and people's bought it and immediately said they wish they'd have bought something else. And that's how you learn, It's not my opinion. I'm just going to tell you what the griddle does. So it's interesting about that Loco. I'll have to keep an eye on for it.
They have it's called the Loco Classic. And then that one's temperature control without power because it doesn't like on the other ones, it's got the actual digital temp readout, where this one doesn't have it, but it's still got the temp settings, and you can get one. I think a 36 for $500, but it's an open frame. It doesn't have a cabinet like the other ones do. So
I have to look. I've always been interested. It seems like people on the griddle group, some love it, some hate it. Like
well, a lot of
almost
people
every
had
single
problems with
griddle out
the
there.
burner system, air and out and all these errors. But I
Yeah.
don't know, mine I've never had an issue with, so I lucked out, I guess.
So you have the original one.
I had the original one, yeah, first one, yeah.
You would probably rank the Halo, then the Loco, and then the Blackstone if you
Yeah,
did just a standard 36.
Yeah, for quality. Yeah.
How close do you think the Loco is to the Halo versus the Blackstone? Let's just say the Blackstone's, like here, and then that, like, if you just like fan it out,
The Halo's a little higher up, definitely.
and so you keep the Loco closer to the Blackstone than you do the Halo.
Yeah, I would, yeah, because it's similar. I mean, the only difference is, I mean, probably the Blackstone heats more evenly than mine. I mean, I did a bread test on mine, and it was like a perfect L of like white bread that didn't even brown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like real hot on the very edge onto my left side, but then it's super cold, which is for me, I like that because I always keep my right side off usually, and that's like I always work to the left to the right, and then I never use a burner over there normally unless I'm cooking for a ton of shit.
And I do the opposite.
Because I like to keep the off side. And with the Halo, it's got so much heat and retention. I can use one burner a lot of times where I may use 2 or 3 on a Blackstone.
Yeah.
They do the same thing. I've cooked burner. I fried up some stuff. I used 2 burners to deep fry some. I was making Mexican pizzas, and I had 2 burners up. I fried my tortillas, and then I turned it completely off. I threw my ground beef on there, completely off. Cooked it up, no problem. It held 350 degrees the whole time. Cooked my ground beef with it turned off from having 2 burners on high for whatever 25 minutes, 30 minutes. By getting hot and getting the oil. Man, that's how much retention. It's insane.
How close on the Loco when you're dealing with your infrared thermometer do you think that it reads? Like, let's say you set it at 400, you cook some stuff on it. Like, are you keeping your thermometer? Like, I mean,
probably within 20.
You're the one with the experience.
Yeah, it's fairly close.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I mean, because you constantly hear your burners kicking on and off, heating up. But like anything, you load it up, then it's like any other griddle. It's not thick enough. It doesn't maintain the heat,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's when I started watching you, Doug, when you were cooking on the Loco.
Yeah. But
with the Loco, though, you only have one temperature setting, right? So you have 3 burners, but all 3 burners have to be 350, or you could do
no, independent.
Independent all. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so I can set one on like 450 or sear. I can put my one of them on 275 is the lowest setting.
Will the temperature on your dial drop if you put food on the griddle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's real time. It shows you real time temperature.
Wow.
So as soon as you put some on, you watch it drop. You hear the burner kick on and watch it go back up.
That's pretty cool.
Okay. It's really weird about that griddle. If you have something setting on it, like let's say you want to deep fry, and you put your pan on there before you turn the griddle on, it throws it off the system, and it'll air out. It won't turn on. But you pull the pan off, it fires up, and then the burners are going. Then you got to set the pan down. I thought that was so weird, but because it's got 3 things across it that measure the temp underneath it they're like spring loaded when you set the griddle on it.
I didn't know that.
With each burner, yeah.
Yeah.
So the newer ones, kind of like the Traeger, where they put dividers in between. It reminds me of the Traeger, how there's like little dividers between each burner.
Yeah.
So it's a similar system to that, and then they're U-shaped burners. Where mine's like, honestly, it's a weird looking burner system, but I mean, it's like any griddle you cook on it. You just get used to it and you adapt to it. I mean, so you get a better. You never know. I mean, I've probably had 12, 15 Blackstones over the years. I've had Blackstones forever, and I'd buy a new one and give it away or this or that, whatever. But you're so used to the Blackstone until you got something different, because it was all the same griddle, all the same griddle, fine, pretty much, Then until really the Halo was the Loco was different because of temp settings, but the Halo really like set it apart from like a Blackstone or any other griddle, just because the burners were more spread out. I mean, I tempt those 600 degrees right in the corner. Now the Blackstone would never get that hot,
No,
corner.
no, you can see that burn pattern 1,000 times
Yeah.
a day on groups and stuff like that, where they, like we mentioned earlier, where they season it and all that stuff, and it just, that heat just doesn't spread that way.
Yeah. So like on my patio,
I actually prefer the even griddles like that.
Yeah.
And I actually prefer being able to, like, we talked about hot and cold on the same griddle. Like, let's say you turn a griddle on and you turn it on to medium, and then 15 minutes later you put your gun down and you've got 150-degree difference, 18 inches away to the edge or something like that.
Yeah.
12 inches away. I would much rather have an even griddle, and I would much rather have I call it a thermostat, but or gas or brake. Like if I'm on low, I want a true low heat. And then if I want more heat, I want to be able to turn my dial up higher,
Yeah.
And I think the Halo does a good job. You got to stay off the heat. Now, you can't have all 4 burners on, but if you have the 2 on, I think it does a good job because it is so efficient that you just really have to learn to deal with it. But even when you learn how to throttle it, you get still more even heat playing around with the temperatures than you would on most griddles.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Traeger does a fantastic job of just staying low.
Yeah.
It has edge-to-edge heat, and that's why I just feel like I like it so much. I think it's like you said, once you get one, whatever the reason why you like a griddle, it's not because it's a Traeger, it's because of the features of the Traeger.
Yeah, it's how it works, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then it's hard to go back to other things because you're so used to like that. There's a reason why you like it, and then you go to another griddle and like it throws up every red flag of why you don't like it.
Yeah.
So I completely understand.
Yeah. But for a long time, that was Blackstone's what it was. That was your choice, which I loved them. I had the old one with the front grease management on it, and it'd run down the leg of the griddle onto the ground. You had to put a tooth or like a paper clip or something in there to try to get it to drip right.
Yeah. See, my first griddle was the Camp Chef.
Yeah.
Well,
and it wasn't like if extremely even, but it was still even.
Yeah.
A lot more even, and I had really good, I love my Camp Chef. I thought it was a great griddle. I can understand why people would complain about some of the stuff that they did. Like they could, to break down the side table, you can't use your grease trap. Some people complained about the grease hole being too little. I actually preferred it, to be honest with you, even over a big grease trap, because the food doesn't go down there. It does get kind of gunked up and you got to clean it out. But I like the trough system. The food funnels in there, the grease separate. You can use take all that debris out and you're good to go. I actually liked it because
I wish
experience.
I wish they'd make a griddle like a commercial griddle with your trough in the front that you scraped off and put down.
Well, I tell you what, there's
no one's mimicked a commercial griddle.
Well,
except for
you see these comments out there, and they almost want to cuss you out because you like to pull your grease towards you. And I do. Well, in the restaurant business, you do.
You always do that, right?
What do you mean? Like, why are you looking at me? Like, have you ever been to a restaurant? And they're like,
I used to
burn yourself. You're going to burn your feet off, and I'm like, I would much rather pull the grease than push grease.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I argued that.
I don't mind. I've cooked so many Blackstones. I don't mind the rear grease. But here's one interesting about the Halo to a Blackstone. How true that griddle top is. So when you're scraping along the edge, like on a Blackstone, it gets part of it. It's just all wavy, and where that griddle is so square, basically, when you scrape across it.
You mean the metal? How true the metal?
Yeah, how true it is. How square it is, like building a wall square.
Yeah.
And it is. And then I remember my brother-in-law came over and cooked on it, and he said the same thing. That's the first thing he said when he was scraping it off. He's like, you just automatically notice that from using your Blackstone. He's got a Blackstone. So interesting things with it. But man, griddle top's heavier than shit, though. One day I'm going to get a scale and weigh it. I want to weigh it against my Blackstone. I want to say it's probably 30 pounds heavier.
I did eggs one time on the Halo, and I wanted like some fluffy eggs because on a griddle it's hard to get fluffy eggs because they run, and when they run, and they spread out, like the base layer is so thin. Yeah. A good scrambled eggs has volume because they stack on top of each other.
Yeah.
Well, I end up buttering because I like butter the edge of the Halo, And in a film, we edited it out. And Amy, my wife, was like, "Why would you do that?" And I said, "I guarantee you that corner's hard enough or hot enough, not hard enough, hot enough, where when those eggs hit that corner, it's going to cook those dang eggs." You know, a lot of griddles won't do that, but that's why the heat retention.
So what I'll do, like I have a patio or a concrete patio, and it's got a little bit of slope on it for drainage. So if I'll spin my griddle around so I can shallow fry at one end.
Oh,
I
yeah.
made
Good point. Yeah.
I made lasagna from scratch on my griddle, except for the noodles, obviously. But I did the same thing, put it there. I made my bolognese to the left of it, and then I turned my once I got that done, cleaned it up, used my 2 outside burners on high, and put my lasagna pan in the middle and baked it, and it came out
And close the
30 minutes
lid.
later, it was bubbling. It's pretty cool. So, and it makes you can do pizzas with it too. I cook a lot of pizzas in mine.
We've got a new griddle that we haven't debuted yet, and it's so frustrating when you don't see that you can use a lid. I think Halo knocked it out of the park with that.
Yeah, they're the only one that
I
full
still
use of the lid, I guess.
I just can't imagine why
It's
people wouldn't
insulated.
want that feature.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an all-in-one. When you're talking about like competitive edge,
it opens up. other
that is a
possibilities.
competitive edge. Huh?
Yeah. I said it opens up a lot more possibilities of what you can do with it.
It absolutely. I mean,
Yeah. You could probably.
and
do
I
a
just
scratch
can't imagine
turkey
it
on that thing.
changing the price point that much to knock
Yeah.
these other competitors out.
Yeah,
Just
So-
because it's a double walled or double insulate, however they want to
yeah,
use it. But that's a feature. That feature alone is probably hands down my favorite feature of eating griddle. Is just the fact that you could close the lid while it's cooking.
that is cool. Yeah, because what Blackstone says like 10 minutes or something on theirs.
Well, you can't use it all in Traeger.
Yeah.
Of course, when I'm filming,
Well, you probably
let me
could.
refresh this. You know, when I'm filming, I can't use the lids anyways because I film facing you versus the.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
can understand how a person would want that feature. We smoke meats on ours.
Yeah,
I know it's a wild shot, but I'm telling you, when
I've
you put a
seen
pellet
that
tube
video.
on there-
Yeah.
when you put a pellet tube on there and close the lid, and you're not worried about the ramifications of the heat and being sucked in there and all that stuff, and you're using it, and then all of a sudden you turn that griddle up and sear some tenderloins off, or some chicken breasts, or some steak, something, whatever. I mean, that's a good combination. That a lid to be able to take that high of heat, I think, is phenomenal. I
Yeah.
mean,
and that grill, the
almost
grill
having
won't
like a
work.
tripod of a griddle, and somebody comes out with 4 legs, and everybody else is like, "No, we don't want 4 legs."
You don't have to worry about warping, your griddle top. So, for the old Blackstones. Is yours warped on you, Ryan?
Nope, not
No.
yet. I mean, I've seen them. There was a couple pictures on your Facebook group, that the guys had theirs warping, and as soon as they heat it up, I guess it goes back. But that was the 22-inch and the 17-inch. I haven't even fired that one up yet.
They
That
don't always go back.
2-inch had anti-warping on the bottom of it too. It had those L brackets in there, just like
Yeah.
most other ones do. And I was surprised as crap.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I haven't seen that on the 36-inch. The 36-inch though is a culinary one, and it's got that extra brace around.
Yeah,
So I don't know if that would even warp at that point. But that 22-inch, when I saw that, I haven't used mine yet. So that's going to be an interesting find if mine actually does it.
have you had one warp on you, Doug?
What's that? Oh, it's my Blackstone I got, yeah. But it came
Any
back
griddle.
one time. It warped one time and it popped up probably about 2 inches, and then it came back down. And when it cooled, it has been fine ever since. That was like 4 years ago. Yeah.
On that Camp Chef, even in a video, I had a rivet pop one time because it has a
One of spot welds
plate underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never had one. I've never had one warp.
I've only had one warp, and I probably have had 12 to 15 Blackstones of different sorts over
Could
the
you
years.
pinpoint of how or why it happened?
No, it didn't break the spot welds at all. It just it just like twisted almost.
But you
See the
know what
front.
you did. Do you know like physical? I mean, like if you just go back and think about it, could you pinpoint why it happened?
Well, it probably had it cranked and hot, and I don't know, but it did it while I was cooking, so I don't think I had anything
But
abnormal.
was it cold outside?
No, I think it was summertime, but nothing abnormal. Not like I dumped a gallon of cold water on it or anything like the shop.
Yeah.
Or a
Well,
bunch of food.
I'm kind of wondering if one of,
Generally at home, I'm just me and my wife, so I'm not cooking that much food at a time.
did
Yeah.
you look
I
at
mean, that's
to
when
see?
it happened at home. It wasn't like because I keep my Blackstone. I just use it for camping. You know, when I go camping because it's easy to haul. That I took my Halo camping one time and I ain't taking that thing ever again. That's an ass.
Get the
What
small
with
one.
one person, and I got
Get
a
the
big
small
Super
one.
Duty, huh?
Get the small one. That hood, you can still use the
Yeah.
hood.
Well, yeah, but I go like in June. I have a big camping trip with like 30 of my friends. So I need the space.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, you
I
need
took my Halo one year, and that's the only time I ever used it. I had all 4 burners on high, and I put about 30 pounds of marinated steak tips on it. You know, but normally you can't cook with it on high like that without burning the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's loaded down. And that's all pulled out of the fridge. And the other question for you, Neil, and this goes in your smoking channel. So I have like how's the Lone Star pellet grill? Is it everything people say it is? Like on Facebook,
Yeah.
they're like get
It
along.
is. It is.
You know,
So on that
you got
channel,
that. We got a Traeger. Don't you have a Pit Boss too?
yeah. Yes, it is everything. Just to clarify, I did get it for free,
Yeah.
but by no means I would stand on the mountain on the hilltops and scream, "Yes, it's worth it."
Hmm.
If it's in your budget and if that's something that you want to go through, absolutely. Yes, I do think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think that the ability to
Yeah.
burn wood chips, and we're going to prove this year because we have some crazy things coming on. We have more excitement coming from that channel than we will the Flat Top King, just because the ability to branch out more. You know, like with griddles, you kind of say with the griddle companies, like I've got a relationship basically with all of them, and it's only what they come out with that we are hold to, right? Like if they come out with a griddle, we buy it or we get it for free, we test it, and then we just go on our ways. But it's the same recipe regardless of what I put it on, right?
Yeah. It's
Well, the smoking channel is completely different. I think we have a great partnership with a company, and we are going to really turn some heads this year. And I couldn't be more excited. I'm going to keep that on the back burner. The reason why I say that is because on the Lone Star, Chris has developed a system to where you can only buy the wood chips through him, which is fine. He has them specifically cut to fit his auger. His auger is specifically made for that. Then all of a sudden you're adding wooden chips, and you could add 50% up to 50% wood chips in the pellet smoker. So in the old days we talk about, well, pellets aren't real wood. Well, now these wood manufacturing like pellet companies that are not grill companies are come out and saying that like that's BS. You know, like there's only so many manufacturers out there that actually do pellets, and they'll do it from private label and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now you've got some huge hitters like Naughty Wood, Lumberjack, Manchester. You've got the pecan pellet.
Yeah, I got a bag at Manchester. I haven't used it yet, but
Yeah, you've got Pit Boss, you got
Tommy at the
Kent,
gallery
Z
backyard.
Grills.
There's by them.
So now it's just not the company saying they have 100% wood pellets, no fillers. Well, if you take a really good premium pellet and you take that pellet and splice it to 50%, and you're using 100% wood chips, whether it be oakery. That's a combination. That's one of those special trees. That's an oak tree and a hickory tree grown together. If you ever find one of these,
hybrid tree.
if you ever find one of those, you let me know. I'll buy it from you.
You should start trying to grow one in your backyard so you can get that hybrid pellet company.
I told you guys, but
all your favorite woods. Hybrid a tree. It's got all your favorite flavors.
There you go. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but to be able to smoke 50%, I really think closes the gap from stick burner to pellet smokers. And now that you've got so many premium pellet companies out there, I don't think they can deviate the crowd anymore. I think there's too much technology out there. I think there's too many big people like Mad Scientist Barbecue and stuff like that that have their own personal beliefs, their own systems, and their success. And when they're testing pellets, I don't think they would die on the sword for a company when the company's not doing everything right. You know, when I say that, I mean like 100% wood and all that stuff. So a pellet smoker in today's world is so much different than when it started. So it's head and shoulders above.
Yeah.
Now the flavor was oddly eerie similar to the Traeger. I say that because they both use the same pellet. But I did not use wood chips in the Lone Star because I felt like that wasn't a fair comparison because the Traeger can't use wood chips. Now I could do another video of the Lone Star packed down with wood chips in the same pellet and do the same pellet on Traeger. And I think you'll notice a bigger difference at that time. But since the Traeger couldn't use pellet chips, I didn't think it was a fair
But I
comparison.
mean, does the Lone Star give you a better smoke flavor? Using the same pellets
Then the Traeger,
than the Traeger, cooking, let's say, the same cut of meat.
I thought it was eerie similar.
Okay.
It shocked me to the core, but I thought it was a lot closer than what I anticipated. I couldn't tell the difference, to just be honest.
Okay. Because, I mean, they
We
say
did a
that.
rib comparison side by side, but I did not add wood chips.
Yeah.
So we used the same pellet in both, cooked them exactly the same. And the taste-wise, I could not taste the difference.
Yeah. I haven't used my Manchester pellets yet, but I'm excited to see if it makes a difference because that's.
But you got the open flame on pellet grills now.
Yeah.
Pit Boss is a big one for it, and Lone Star has that ability. I think that should be a standard in all pellet grilling, just because the ability to pizza oven, to open flame, to reverse sear. Anytime beef touches an open flame and sizzles down, it just creates a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah, Rectech's got that dual fire. That's pretty cool. Have you seen that one?
That's the pellet smoker and the.
It's like a dual chamber. It's like a big pellet smoker and a smaller chamber just for searing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, these companies are getting smart. I can tell you that.
Now, were you interested in getting the griddle from Rectech? I've never seen one. I'm curious how that works. The temp control. I mean, how do you work that off of burning pellets, and how fast can you adjust it?
So I got tons of questions, and it kind of came down to the same questions. From my understanding, is you only have one temperature. So like when you turn your griddle on, you don't have zones. Let me replace that. You can't go low on one side, high on the other. And then it goes back to pellet consumption. Is pellet consumption more efficient than propane? We talked about that earlier. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to, should you use a cheap pellet because you're not getting the real pellet ambiance going on, or should you use a premium pellet because they burn hotter, cleaner, faster? That's what they advertise. And when you're talking about a griddle, you might need that with less ash, but it seems like an awful lot of money to be forking out to be able to go on high, because then all of a sudden you're not getting the true smoke. So I don't know if you know this about pellet. For the audience, the hotter a pellet or wood burns, the less smoke you get. There's a perfect temperature for wood. So running it that hot to create a fire, you're not getting the smoke anyway. So then that kind of eliminates in my mind to having a premium pellet. But then if you get cheaper pellets, you're getting cheaper pellets.
Yeah.
So I don't.
So I guess a lot of pellet companies they I guess buy a product of sawdust they get from places to make them. So I understand. I was kind of reading into it, where like Manchester grows their own trees, and they harvest their trees solely for their pellets, nothing else. And I guess some of the other premium pellets are probably similar to how they do that.
And there's pecan shells. You guys heard the new thing about pecan shells, where they take pecan shells and grind them up and make pellets out of them?
Yeah.
I'd be interested in that.
Tommy at Gallery Backyard did a thing on that. He had a video.
Did he like them?
Yeah. Yeah, he did a thing on that. It's interesting.
Yeah, and really it comes down to what most people – I would probably say the same thing on your channel, Doug, that the average person out there is – typically it's about cost. I think everything is about cost.
Yeah.
The struggles of a $400 griddle or a $600 griddle are probably 80% of our audience.
Yeah.
Very few times, they'll say on a $1,000 griddle, I can cook just as good on a $400 griddle.
Or a $300 griddle.
Yeah, and I think, really, if you blindfolded people, I think that's true. I think even if Doug was here and I cooked in front of him or vice versa, and you cooked on the Black Zone or cooked on the Halo, if you only cooked one burger, just one burger, I think it would be probably hard if the temperatures on the griddle were, you're just looking at 425 degrees on the Blackstone, 425 degrees on the Halo. It'd probably be pretty hard to tell the difference. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Just for one. Now, the longevity, the features, the retention, all that's not included when it just comes to like, just one straight thing. So I can kind of understand that, but that's not why you buy a piece of equipment. There's other things that go into it. So, same thing with pellet smoking and pellets in general. You can buy a 250 to when they're on sale, you can buy a $250 cheap piece of tin that's got a motor on it that runs pellets.
Yeah.
It's not a big one or anything like that, but some people, that's what they want, or that's what they can afford, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's all I can afford. So,
and then it comes to pellets. My gosh, some of these pellets, I mean, hey, every right to them. But it almost feels like it better be good pellets when you get the price by the time you pay shipping and you get the price in general. I mean, they're expensive.
Yeah, like Manchester, they don't sell them anywhere around me yet, so it's like $32 for a 20-pound bag on Amazon.
Well, at least they sell on Amazon. I wanted to try Naughty Wood.
So I actually reached out to Manchester. I said, "Here's a couple, mom and pop barbecue shops in St. Louis, that's carry, they sell the premium stuff." I said, "Reach out to," because they're wanting to expand their market. So hopefully they can get a local shop around me to pick them up.
Is Sugar Fire one of them?
No. I'm talking barbecue stores.
Oh,
They
stores.
sell barbecue pits and
Well, you're down in the city. We don't have that stuff up here. So
Yeah.
you're about 40 minutes from me. I don't get down there that often.
Yeah, we got the places that sell the the $10,000 built-in gas grills and shit like that.
So if you don't know, Doug is about 40 minutes away from where I'm at. So, but like he's down there towards the city. The only time I ever go down there is the Micro Center, and I take that one highway, turn right, turn left, turn right, and then just the opposite to go home, and that's it. I don't go any farther.
In the city, I'm in the suburbs.
Oh, I know you're in the suburbs, but
Ain't
to
in the
me,
hood, baby.
Compared to where I'm at, that's the city to me.
Well, you're out there too.
Well,
My camera just died.
your battery dies. What
It
happened?
probably did die.
Technical
difficulty. That's why we. That's why we call it the shit show, baby. That's why. Technical difficulties.
I mean,
I still got audio. Come on.
I know, but I live in a town that's got like maybe 2,000 people in it. So I'm in a small little rinky-dink town.
Golly, let's do the quick math. I think on a 20-pound bag, I could probably get about an 8 to 12 hour cook. Don't you think that's fair, Doug, on a pellet smoker?
Yeah. Because like the pellet smoker I got, it holds 18 pounds, and like on a brisket, I have to put some in it to do it, a little bit in there. So that's probably about right.
And you figure if you have to pay shipping from a company versus going to like Walmart or Academy or Dick's
Costco,
or somewhere like that to pick it up, then you're talking about $40 to $60 for a 20-pound bag.
Yeah.
$38 for like a bag of 20-pound pellets, and then like $17 for ship or $28 a ship or something like that. And then you think that like if that only lasts 8 to 12 hours, a propane tank costs. Now, granted, you've already bought a propane tank or you've rented it. So at Costco right now, I bought mine for $29.99, but now they're $42.99. Thanks for inflation.
Well,
but then
you
fill it up for $16, so that's $50, and it's definitely not going to get you 12 straight hours of cooking. I don't know. I have no idea. But that's high heat versus low heat. I guarantee you couldn't run your smoker at 12 hours at 450 degrees for a 20-pound. So I don't think that's fair. And then the propane, the griddle can't go as low as a smoker can go. So I don't know if we're ever going to get that answer. I don't know.
Just keep a lot of pellets on hand.
That's true. It takes a lot.
Now, Manchester, you can buy, they'll ship you a pallet of pellets to your house.
A pallet? Oh, that's just what I need.
It comes like $9 a bag for a 20-pound bag. So
that's
like
a good deal.
$1,100.
I mean, that's probably go through them. I don't know what we're about, but people backing up and like, we got your pellet order.
I knew people that like the same pellets. You split it like with 4 people or something. So you're not.
That's interesting.
Not dumping $1,100 on it, but.
I think right now, like my go-to, do you guys have Academy Sports?
Yeah, I love Academy Sports.
Is B&B Championship for like, I think it's $9 or $12 for a 40-pound bag. once you take that, then you add the wood chips for the Lone Star. I mean, you've got a great product. And adding those wood chips, really help as well. I only do 3-to-1 ratio. I don't do the 50-50 split. One, I like to save a little bit because I feel like it's how much more could it be, but ultimately it's about price too. When you go through I did what did I do the other day? Oh, a whole hog. Nobody knows this yet. So we did a whole hog, and I mixed it a 3-to-1 ratio with a 20-pound bag. And by the time you start using all those wood chips, you're like, I'm just counting dollars.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's just waste. That's just more dollars versus pellets. So, but the end result, it makes it worth it. But for anybody that's, that's cautious about that stuff, I could definitely understand the struggles of pellets and premium pellets versus regular pellets. And does it really matter? Is a Pit Boss pellet different than Traeger pellet versus B&B pellet versus Bear Mountain?
Yeah.
Camp Chef. I think Z Grills even has their own brand of pellets.
Oh yeah, there's tons of them out there.
Yeah. So
Kingsford pellets.
That's true. I forgot about Weber. Doesn't Weber have pellets?
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen them.
Or maybe that's charcoal. They try to come out with their charcoal.
Yeah, I've seen charcoal. Yeah, like a Lowe's.
Maybe that's what it was charcoal. So
they'll probably come out with pellets. Well, someone will make them for them, but yeah, Pit Boss pellets. Yeah, I like B&B products or wood chips and wood chunks and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good value. And I think that's for most pellet smoking. I think I think we've had the channel open for 4 months now, and I've been cooking for 2 years now with pellet grills. I don't know if I'd be able to taste the difference when your average pellet. Yeah, I don't even forget company. I don't even know if I could tell the difference between oak and hickory or apple and hickory or apple and oak and all that other junk.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never bit into something and be like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. That's why I'm excited to cook some with that Manchester, see if there's really a difference from a premium pellet to.
Now, do you have 2 pellet smokers?
I said one.
It'd be fun to see a side by side, but then all of a sudden you'll have somebody say, well, that grill cooks different than that grill, and then that takes that theory out of the question. I don't want 2 grills the same exact. I can tell you that. I've got too many as it is.
Yeah.
Last thing I want is 2 exact grills on the deck.
Yeah.
I don't have a single pellet smoker.
Rob, you gotta get a pellet smoker.
Well, I'd like to.
Yeah.
Sometime. I got my little Oklahoma Joe stick burner.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll get one eventually. Hope by the time that happens, the channel will be big enough. Somebody will just send me one free, right?
Yeah.
Somebody says I buy cheap pellets. I get 20-pound Pit Boss hickory pellets for $9.99 at a store, and we're happy. Yeah. For Okie smoking, absolutely. Yeah.
So there's a big pellet group, like Pellet Grill Enthusiasts. It's like 200,000 something people on Facebook.
Jeez.
Group. So I put on there. I said, hey, what's everybody recommend for pellets? And the number one answer was between Bear Mountain and Lumberjack.
I wonder if Lumberjack's more available in different areas. Is Lumberjack
more people said Lumberjack and Bear Mountain? And then
is Lumberjack available where you're at?
Yeah.
If you go to, we don't have Lumberjack here.
And then
I wonder if that's more because it's more accessibility.
The only pellet they bashed was Traeger pellets for whatever reason. I haven't tried Traeger pellets yet.
I haven't either, and I'll tell you why. It's only because I always see negative views on them.
Yeah,
but I mean, until you try them, who's to say? I have no idea. I've never tried them. That's honest. So I can't sit here and say they're da da da. But I do know this. I do know that Pit Boss has their own wood farm. Now, whether or not they grow their own trees, I don't know. But they harvest the trees.
Yeah,
they have their own pellet producing business.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with trees and all that stuff. So,
well, for a 20-pound bag, it's $13, and that's at that Academy Sports. So
that's right. I've gotten.
You said you had one of those, didn't you? Say that, Neal?
Academy, yeah. That's where I buy most of my pellets. I did learn this, and I actually mentioned on one of the videos I was going to post probably Sunday. I was surprised because I've always bought my pellets, not always, but majority of them come from Academy because the price and the variety and all that stuff. And I went to Home Depot and found that Bear Mountain had 3 different completely different blends than what my academy had just right across the street. And I was like, I had no idea this even existed. And I've been doing pellet smoking for 2 years because Home Depot is not the first thing I think of when it comes to pellets. So I bought a couple blends there to try out. I can't tell the difference either.
Yeah, I mean,
it was nice to know that I bought a bourbon maple whiskey, like or somebody. I'm like, hey, let's try it out. Switch
I buy
it up
a different pellet every time. I've been trying everything. It's all the same. So
yeah.
Rich is here. Rich has finally showed up. He's taking the turn for the poor guy, like, don't show up for an hour.
Hello, Richard.
Richard's a cool dude. I like Richard. I like that guy.
One of these days I'll get a pellet smoker.
Yeah.
One of these days.
It's funny how people, they'll just bash you for having them. Oh, it's a, easy bake oven and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's much stuff I got going on. I don't have time to babysit a stick burner. I know the flavor is superior. Nobody's argued that. But the idea, like now you could turn on grills with your phone.
Well,
you don't even have to walk out there. Just turn it on from your recliner. I mean, I know it sounds lazy, but sometimes it's nice.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind doing some smoked meat on there and then turn around and throw it and make it a quesadilla on the griddle with it.
Mm-hmm.
Doug knows from experience, man. I'm telling you, the two best pieces of equipment is either a charcoal grill or a pellet smoker and a griddle, because the combinations between the two, whether you sear first and smoke second or smoke first and sear second, it doesn't matter. But those hand in hand, that's why, we talked earlier. That's why I think griddles are here to stay.
Yeah. Oh, I got a charcoal grill. I got one.
They'll outsell, I don't know if they do yet, but they'll outsell regular gas grills eventually.
They probably already do.
I mean, I use the smoke tubes right now on the charcoal grill because that's all I got. But those smoke tubes do pretty good. I did some ribs with them, and those smoke tubes do pretty good. I think for each tube it was like 5 hours, 4.5 hours, 5 hours for the pellets.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I had to fill it up a couple times, but it worked.
Yeah.
So.
Like gas grills, they still, like when you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, it's still more gas grills on the floor than anything else, So
well, I got charcoal.
We should infiltrate like a gas grill group, see what they say about it. Just curious, like I won't post anything, but I'll just be curious to be like, oh, I had the greatest, whatever off, the gas. I mean, what could you even argue?
I got a Weber Genesis I haven't used probably in 7 years. It just sits there. After I got
my gosh. Hey, let me tell you something. Now I will say this, and this is honest to God's truth. They sent me one to test that griddle insert.
Uh-huh.
I've been impressed by the griddle insert.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of times, especially with a busy family, my kids are getting a lot more involved in extracurricular activities. And as you guys know, the channel, the bread route, the channel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
My time's limited. There are plenty of times I've come out and moved that griddle. I like to store it in the griddle, but I'll take it off and just fire my Weber Genesis up for a quick pork tenderloin or a quick burger or something like that. Just because I cook on the griddle so often, for the average family, I can understand the ease of a griddle. But since I do it all the time, I'm looking for something different. I love my Weber gas grill. It's still on the deck. I love it because just convenient. Like you said, I don't use a lot, but when I need it for a pinch.
Yeah.
So we've talked about it on the show in the past. Do you guys, because we asked Rob over there because he's in Oklahoma. Do you have, because this is a St. Louis thing for the most part, do you have pork steaks there? Pork steaks.
Just depends on, like, for example, Ingles, our local butcher, or Ingles is like a chain grocery store. They have a lot more like butchery going on. Even though it's just traditional style grocery store stuff, they'll grind their own meats and stuff like that. Food City is a local as well, but it's a little bit more restricted, even though they do it. And they will do it eventually. They'll probably do it like Ingles, where they probably get the whole loin, and then how they break down the loin, they'll have a couple steaks. But yeah, I mean, it's common. It just depends on where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we could just go to Walmart and anywhere around here in St. Louis.
It's
a St. Louis thing, for the most part, just like
Like
toasted
30 years ago,
ravioli.
before barbecuing was really big and doing all this smoking and all that stuff. Like if you said you're going to barbecue in St. Louis, that means you were going to fire up some pork steaks on your Weber and use some Mall's barbecue sauce.
Now, just to clarify, pork steak is basically just a pork butt cut
Pork
into
butt, yeah, bone in, yeah, or
steaks.
shoulder, yeah,
Yeah,
cut
exactly.
steaks, yeah.
I think what's more common here is country style ribs. So it's the same pork butt,
Yeah.
but they're just cut smaller. I think that's probably more common than a steak.
Yeah. But
they're fantastic. Take half the time to cook.
Yep.
So
Well, I always cut a couple extra, throw them up in cubes, and throw them into pork and beans, right on that grill.
Yep.
But I've never had a gas grill. I've always done charcoal because I always felt that whenever I always ate off of a gas grill, the flavor of the meat just tasted different than it was on a charcoal. And everybody in my house loves to put barbecue sauce on everything. Now, where I'm not a fan of everything having barbecue sauce, I don't think everything should have barbecue sauce. Right?
Agreed.
And it's just like, man.
Hey, I challenge a lot of people. When you do a slab of ribs, keep the basics. Don't even sauce them. A good salt, pepper, and garlic, and some people don't even do garlic. But enjoy a rib for what a rib is. I think people would be amazed how good a pork rib, like a St. Louis cut, no pun intended, is when it's done right with just a good, heavy, coarse black pepper, some salt, and just let the smoke do its thing. You're right, Rob, about just over saucing everything. But a good rib done right is fantastic. And then you can stack your layers of flavor accordingly, and you can get crazy with them. But to understand, it just goes back to the basics. To understand what the core value of the food is, and then really get a part of the smoke, the salt, the pepper. I think it's hard to beat. It is really hard to beat. I like the garlic in there, but that's just a personal preference.
Yep, and then they fall right off the bone, and yeah, I just barbecue sauce to me, it just depends on what it is.
I think the gas grills, like we talked about griddles and pellet smokers, I think you pay for what you get for. I think the cheaper gas grills out there give off that soot, where you taste it. You're talking about that propane taste that just they don't clean their grates good enough, or the grates hold on to too much stuff. And I think, unfortunately, the better quality of the grill you get, the better outcome you get consistently.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so, the Weber's not cheap, but I swear by it. I mean, especially for just an easy something,
Well, Weber's last a long time. They're worth the money.
My dad grew up on a Weber kettle. I grew up on a Weber kettle. We joked about it in the video, and we actually did a rib video the same day. And I just assumed that Dad always kept the membrane off. And we did a rib comparison of naked, aluminum foil, and butcher paper. And Dad was eating them with me because I wanted him to taste them. And after he ate them, I told him that I just assumed that he kept the membrane on. I like the membrane. I mean, people just are disgusted. I'm like, hell, I've eaten a lot worse, I can tell you that, than a 6-hour smoked membrane on a St. Louis rib. And when Dad ate them, I scored them. And when he ate them, I said, was the membrane on or off? And he said that the membrane was off. And I said, that's exactly my point. My whole life has been like, does it really matter? Does it really matter? Because
I keep mine on.
All three, and here you are. They're off. It's off. No, it's not.
I keep mine on. It just doesn't do nothing because when you either rub them or season them or what have you, none of that stuff is coming from the bottom anyway. So what's the point?
Some people say that membrane actually holds some of the moisture in too.
It might.
If you cook ribs up, right
might.
side up so much.
Yeah.
So I score them. I mean, it's just faster for me.
But by the time it comes off, you don't even realize it's there, and the bones come right off. And it's not like that membrane holds the meat together. It's just.
Doug will appreciate this. I had a guy tell me he unsubscribed because I didn't edge up my St. Louis style ribs. I just kept the little flappy end on the end. And he thought it was so bad that I did a rib video that and I didn't take time to trim my ribs. I'm like, growing up, that was jerky for us. Yeah, that's why you unsubscribe. You can unsubscribe for a lot of reasons, but not trimming the jerky. I love that pork jerky, man.
That's crazy. Some people are crazy.
Golly, it's one of my favorite parts, and I like the St. Louis rib because I like the the riblets. You know, we keep the whole thing. Like I like the spare rib. The second best would just take the spare rib, make it a St. Louis rib. That's what we did for that video. But I actually just do the whole spare rib because we like the knuckles. We like it all. You know, like I mean, it's just part of barbecue, I guess. You know,
Well, here's one. Hey, will you try a snoot? Have you ever had, or do you know what a snoot is? No, St. Louis. So this is the St. Louis. Yeah, so it's the St. Louis. This is Hood barbecue. St. Louis Hood barbecue. So it's you can buy the I got a bunch in my freezer, but it's the pig snout and then the flap over its mouth, and then that's how you buy it. You cut the snout off and you smoke those, but you give them to your dog. But then you take the flat part over it, and then you got to trim it up a little bit underneath because it's got a lot of membrane, and then you score it each way, and then you smoke them probably about 3 hours, and you get them where they become crispy. So it's almost like a pork rind, and then you dip it in barbecue sauce, and then you throw it on 2 pieces of white bread. That's how you eat it. That's Hood barbecue.
I try a lot of things. I could go down a rabbit hole of stuff I probably shouldn't say, but we'll keep it PG. But I've tried a lot of.
I got some in the freezer. I should send some to you.
We we used to live in Wyoming.
I'll pack some up and ship them out.
We used to live in Wyoming, and we got invited to a branding, my first branding, and since we were not necessarily horse savvy, and it was kind of like open field style where they still had them in pens, but they were coming loose in the pens, and the pens were big. They were still using the horses to rate them in and rope them and take them down. Well, somehow I got involved in making a bull a steer. Let's put it that way, politely. Well, the old school branding is, you really got the propane going in like this little metal tube, and you got your branding irons. Well, on top of that, it's typically flat because they place stuff on top of it. And the older rancher was kind of like, just letting me just have free will. He's like, I didn't think you would like it. And I'm like, I didn't think I'd like it either, but we'll just take the information out of there. But what happens is you have them in your hand when you're done, and you can either discard them or you put it right on that branding station. I'm telling you, you just flip them over a couple little times and pop those jokers like popcorn. And by the end of the day, I was full of tick. I can tell you that. We had a blast. Now, there's a difference between a bull with full of testosterone. That's where you get your Rocky Mountain oysters. Or you do a steer where they're young. It just tastes like pure ribeye fat. Sear them up on that dang hot griddle style plate. Golly, I miss those days. I'd go back just for that.
That's something I haven't tried that. So
a little chew, a little texture, but they're good. They're good. So
that's funny. That's funny there.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I can bring myself to do that, indeed.
They're good, man. I'm telling you, it's like pure ribeye fat. I'm telling you, they're good. It's like
I'm sure it is good.
What I should do, I should send you an unedited video of the stuff we cut out of that pig. My dang uncle ended up eating the eye.
No. So I would have loved to have the head, because we talked about it the last show. Our family made scrapple. We still make scrapple. You know what that is?
I do. Yeah, it's common here.
Yeah. I mean, it's all not German my favorite, stuff,
but I mean, it's very common.
Well, we were grown up with it. It was nothing for us to. Grandpa had that cast iron kettle out back, and he'd put fire underneath it and boil the water and throw that hog head and that shoulder on there, and then, mainly grind up the meat, and and then the oats and the seasoning and homemade, all that stuff, and you bake. Oh yeah, we still make it. I talked to my cousin Stanley the other day. He said, "Call me whenever you make it, because I'll make a video of that."
Yeah.
That'll be
interesting. Yeah,
that would be interesting.
That will be a video, but we don't do it with the cast iron no more. He said the flavor doesn't matter between the cast iron and the steel pot.
Yeah.
So he's like, there's no reason to pull out the cast iron, throw all that firewood underneath there when this burner and this pot does the same thing.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, if anybody ever decides to go and see how to make it, the key to scrapple, and we got a lot of Amish up north of us, is because it's hard to get it in the store anymore. Steel cut oats. If you use regular oats, it doesn't taste the same. It's not something's not right with the texture. Something's not right with the when you fry it. It's just not right. You have to use steel cut oats. That is like the main ingredient, the main thing of that whole recipe. If you don't use it, you might as well just flush it down the toilet and go get some liver sausage because
Yeah.
it's going to taste just as bad. But I'm waiting for him to call me because I will make a video on how we do that because we hand grind the meat and all that stuff too.
I'll tell you one thing. That's something I enjoy: some good chicken livers, some sautéed peppers and onions on the grill. Season up some chicken livers with some good seasoning and just like griddle, like sear them off on the griddle, and the sweated peppers and onions. I enjoy that, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Did you make a video doing that or chicken liver video?
No, you'll laugh at the video I made today. Just remember you laugh. Just remember when I said you're gonna laugh at the video I made today.
Are you guys using Premiere Pro or are you guys using just some off the wall editor?
Basic comes with the computer iMovie. We
Yeah.
shoot with an iPhone
Yeah.
and we
Yeah,
edit
the
with the
iMovie.
computer, and I'm done with it. I just
The
don't have.
iMovie.
I just it's what I learned on originally, and I work a lot with a laptop because we're so mobile versus having like a standalone like desktop and all that stuff. And it's what I learned on first, and then we try to get the Pro Premiere, the you name it, we've tried it with the 30, 90, 180 day packages of whatever it is, and it seems like it's so much more involved as splicing and cutting and
Oh, it is.
all this stuff. And
It's a learning
It's just
curve,
difficult.
but there's so
No.
much stuff you can
I-
do.
I-
The
I
nice
can't-
thing is your
I
wife
just
films
can't get
for
into
you.
like the wait.
Yeah.
Doug's. I can hear Doug.
Oh, I
Say
said
that
your
again,
wife.
Doug. No, I can't hear you.
You
Can
can't
anybody
hear
hear Doug? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear all,
Can you hear me?
you. Something
Uh-oh.
happened.
We got a problem somewhere.
Neal got loud. Can you? Anybody hear me?
Yeah, Neal got louder. I can hear.
Yeah, Neal got louder.
Is it me?
It might be you.
Now
Is
he's
it-
quieter. Now, can you hear me, Neal?
You don't have
Yeah.
any alarms.
That was weird.
There we
You
go.
don't have any alarms.
Just-
Are you back?
I'm back. You guys there?
Uh,
I'm
yeah,
back.
he's quieter.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're quieter. It went quiet.
No, I was going to say, Neal, you got your wife that films for you, right?
Yeah. Luckily.
And so does
Yeah.
Rob. So that makes it where you can use one camera. Like for
Mhm.
me, I do it by myself, so I'll use 3 cameras. So that's where
That's
the
gonna be
Premiere
tough.
Pro's nice.
We
Yeah.
tried that before because we tried to do like a short form and long form together at the same time because I really wanted to try to like grow short form.
Yeah.
But it's a whole nother animal. And then like you're trying to splice in. Then I was like, well, I could take some of the footage here and some of the footage there. Then I'm trying to splice in right at the right time, like a vertical versus a horizontal. And I'm like, man, I don't like this at all. It's
Yeah,
just
but that's where Premiere Pro is awesome with that because you can you can
Do all kinds of
you
stuff
can
with
do that. But like that video I made, it was probably last year, and I put it on your Facebook group, and I sent it to you guys where you were taking bites of all your stuff, and you wanted me to do a short on it. Well, the problem I had with that particular video was vertical, and I couldn't get because I did try. I probably spent an hour and a half trying to do that for you, and I couldn't get your whole face in the shot because of how much it was moving. Right?
Mm.
It was just a pain in the rear. So
Yeah.
and that would have probably been a great short for your channel on that. And I put it together just because I thought it was funny. I got a weird sense of humor. Some of my shorts on my other channel is 80s gamers or 80s gamer does something, and I make myself look like the idiot and my son the genius. The one that was sitting here a little bit ago talking and stuff before the show. I make him look like he's the smartest guy in the world, and I'm the idiot. So
That's
but-
that's everyday parenting.
Yeah.
right. So I mean, but I only did that because I thought you guys wouldn't get mad, and you guys had that kind of personality. So and I figured I'd
Something like
share it
that.
with you, but it's what it is. But I did try to do that one for you with the vertical for the short thing, but it just won't work out.
I think one of the biggest misperceptions when you hit a certain level is you change or you're different, or like, people look at us now like they'll just, like, for example, if they would just watch the first video today, they only see the subscribers, they only see the views, they only see what we've done today. But like what we've done today is no different than where we started. We're exactly where somebody with 100 subscribers or 10 subscribers or 5 subscribers. I remember my first comment, and I actually reached out to him when I made 100,000 subscribers, and I said, I just did a direct message, and I said, do you remember who I am? You're the first guy to ever comment on my YouTube channel. Just little things like that. And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, I don't follow you anymore, but yeah. And but it was just funny. And then he does now. But it was just kind of unique because, I remember waking up one day and just I told my wife, I said, hey, I got a comment. I didn't really expect it. And one thing for sure, it hasn't changed us, like at all.
Yeah.
And I say that because just like the editing, like that's what I started with. That's what I got comfortable with. And that's exactly what I do today. And I've got better at it, but I think the one way we got better at it is we've learned how to film more efficiently. Even though I try to teach, I still try to get direct to the point, but I still try to teach because there's a lot of information when somebody doesn't know what they're doing. And I feel like that's our audience. So when somebody comes in here like, you talk too much, I'm like, well, then this channel's not for you. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I'm not going to change. Or like, I mean, the video is what the video is.
Yeah. You'll never please everybody.
I'm gonna, and you brought up that just because people look at my numbers and see this and they think we've changed and we're different and stuff, and I'm gonna tell you something. So I started that tech channel back in 2020, right before the pandemic started to even say it was a pandemic. I just happened to just happenstance. I've been doing that almost 4 years on that channel, and the tech space is so clustered with stuff, And I'm not that great personality wise on that side. On this channel, I got more personality than I do on that channel. For some reason, it's tech, but you know, I have found more of a close knit community on this part of YouTube with this niche than I ever did with the tech side. I have reached out to big tech tubers. I've reached out to tech tubers that are smaller than me, and they just stick their nose up at you. This here, I think this is a unique community. I mean, think about this. You got 3 guys here that nobody knows, and we've got the Flat Top King on here, and that kind of shows what kind of people are in this kind of a realm. I think everybody on this side over here is just a special group.
Well, it's funny you say that because I've reached out to 2 people directly that even where I'm at today won't even give me the time of day.
No.
One of them I'm above, and the other one I'm way below. And I just thought to myself, like, I just don't want to be that guy. Like, that's not who I am. I'm just a really easygoing guy. Like, I just do YouTube. Like, I literally started this. My second video was my first video was with my kid. Like, we didn't have like a purpose, a mission statement. We didn't have spices. We were just starting, and it took a long time to really wrap our hand around what we had and who we were. And I've always felt like I'm just a normal dude, like I'm just a normal guy. Like, I have neighbors. I mow my yard. I have I go to work every day. He as a Frito-Lay guy. Hey, let me tell you something. We work every single day. Rain, spit, snow, shine. It don't matter. In the bread business, the pressure's on. Like, I don't like the pressure, but holidays, weekends, nights, mornings, I mean, it's just constant. And this was my release to cook. And I cook. I keep looking over because it's my wife, but honestly, I've cooked my whole life. From the time I could reach the stove, I can tell you the first story of me ever failing or learning how to cook, and it was really easy. People played sports. I played sports, and people watched things on TV. I watched Martha Stewart when I grew up. I watched the 2 Fat Ladies when I grew up. I watched East Wing or the Asian guy. God, I can't remember the thing. Multo Mario. I mean, Food Network was my passion because I really related to it because I could really. I'm not the world's smartest, but I just dove right into it and everything came so easy. But I remember going to the stove and chopping up onions and putting them in a skillet and trying to caramelize them because I understood that the sugars in the onions would help them brown. Well, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Had like half an onion in there. I didn't want my grandmother to be mad at me. Then I added like 2 tablespoons of sugar, thinking like that's going to help caramelize it, you know. But that is my first true memory of cooking, and I was 12 years old. So
You-
that's exactly how it started. You know, trying to caramelize the onion because I saw it on TV. I had no idea what it tasted like and no idea what it meant. But I just knew that the sugars inside the onions were supposed to brown. It wasn't browning, so I helped it. And god awful. Candied onions. I don't know if we've ever heard of that. We shouldn't hear of that, but that's how it started. But I I just I guess it just goes even back to the tech. We started with a cell phone because that's all we had. We've reached out to people, and it's funny how much money they spend. It's not funny. It's their choice, but they'll spend like let's just say $3,500 for a camera. We bought one that was not near that expensive, but we felt like the focus wasn't following us faster. And the camera was a still shot, like a really great still shot, probably a better still shot than what we have for our cell phones. But we moved so often that the focus wasn't focusing as fast as like a standard phone. So we just stuck with it. And then with editing, it was already on the computer. I started it from day one. I learned it exactly that way. And then you look at the time that it takes to learn a new program and versus the time it was taken away from other things. I'm like, let's just stay with it. I'm just that type of person.
Hey, there's no Rob. Rob uses his phone, edits everything, films everything. Everything's done on his phone.
Yeah.
It's truly amazes me that who was it on there the other day? Um, Somebody else did the same thing. But what I'm amazed by now, see, being a tech channel, I've got all this stuff. Mostly, some of it because it's tech stuff, so it
Mm.
goes within the stuff. But the camera I've got, the $2,300 camera. That computer I built, that's a $5,000 computer. That one there is probably a $3,000 computer. That one there, I think I spent about $2,500 on that computer. That server over there, that was a Frankenstein. So I didn't pay much for that one. But there's another computer in there. There's another one upstairs. It's all gaming PCs, but that's the tech space. It's expensive. And when my wife's like, well, maybe you found your needs. Maybe you don't need to do that as much as that tech stuff because this is cheaper. Because you guys are talking about $500 grills and stuff and stuff. And my wife would probably be happy as hell if I go spend $500 on a griddle
Don't
instead
worry,
of
Ryan. There's
$2,000 on a
$5,000 there. And
$2,000 on a graphics card, But I get it, and I'll be honest with you, the people who do that, I respect a whole lot more because as long as I've been doing it, I know what it's entailed. Just because this channel's small doesn't mean I haven't been doing this for a long time. You guys, you talked about how you're. I still get. Used to see some of my first videos from the other channel. Like if you watch my first video from this channel, I'm out of the gate. Welcome. I'm comfortable. You can see the comfort level. You can see all, but that stems from the stuff I did before, right? So I completely and totally understand where you're coming from, Neal. I do. It's one of those things. I've spoken. This is the way.
Ryan, you should trade some of those computers in for more grills.
I can't. I can't. You don't understand. Between tech and food from the time I was young, has always been something of mine. It's from the time where you know I figured out how to descramble the smut channels on the cable TV. You would sit there and it'd be scrambled and say, "Oh, there's a woman's body part." I figured out how to unscramble that on the back of the TV so you could actually watch it.
I wish I was friends with you because boy, I remember them days.
So it's just been the first time I think my grandpa bought me a tape recorder or something. Within 5 minutes, I had the whole thing taken apart. I wanted to see how it worked. Then I put it all back together and it worked fine. But he got so mad at me because it was in a million pieces, But I wanted to see how it worked.
Yeah.
And the food part of it came by accident. That came in my I think in sixth grade. Everybody was taking wood shop and all that stuff all through high school and middle school. Me, I took home ec because that's where the girls were at. So the girls were on home ec, the boys were in wood shop. I'm going to home ec because that's where the girls are at. And then whenever we started cooking in home ec, I just kind of fell in love with cooking. Now, how much I know is yet to be seen. But
I took home ec because my wife was in home ec. That was the only class we ever had together in school.
We're high school sweethearts.
That was the only class we ever had in school. I was a year older than her. That's funny.
That's the only reason I took home ec is because that's where the girls were at. There was me.
Ryan, you can sew too.
Oh yeah,
they teach us.
I learned how to sew. I learned how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like really quickly, I've been down this rabbit hole. So I'm not a big fan of fine dining. I've been in it before, and I don't like using tweezers to decorate plates and always have a rag on hand on the shoulder to wipe off the plates. I'm more of like, if you're
blue
really
collar,
I'm more of like a sandwich or like a shrimp and grits type of guy. Like not like frou-frou style stuff. Although I do enjoy eating it, I'm just not that type of person that would want to make it for a living. But I've been down this rabbit hole lately because I always try to get inspiration for somewhere, and I found this really cool thing about like not necessarily whole butchery, but it's a steakhouse, and they go through it and all that stuff. And you look at the prices of these steaks, you look at the prices of the menu, you look at the prices of how much people can afford on a daily basis, and how many covers they go through, and how busy they are, how many employees they have, and it's mind-boggling, right? It's just so hard to wrap your mind around something like that. And then look at the simplicity of a burger or a hot dog, right? Cafeterias serve them. Food carts all across the country serve them. Probably, I would say at this time, they're probably around the world. They're probably global, I would probably say at this time. Stadiums, schools, probably just about every single grocery store has some type of hot dog or a sausage or some type, something like that in there. The separation of a culinary journey, in my opinion, is so vast. It's almost like the idea of tech and the idea of like food just in general. Like there's so many people that are elevated in tech. There's so many people like me that are just untech savvy. Like I could not tell. I would have to go to Rob if I had a problem. He would have to. There'd be no doubt about it.
Ryan.
That's a big problem.
Don't go to Rob for tech issues.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Ryan. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Rob,
like, huh? You guys are both have big problems.
Yeah. But it just goes to show. I mean, just like the simplicity of a hot dog versus a farm-to-table, grass-finished beef that's been dry aged for 35 days, and then it's broken down into the. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it's still food.
Yeah.
It's still going to feed somebody. And how you do a hot dog or how you do that is just it just boggles my mind about food and how much history and how much culinary history there is that it's like one of those things, man. You get down a rabbit hole and it's hard to come out of. My mind's been warped all week. Pizza's been a thorn in my side. I can make pizza dough all day long, but this Napoleon style pizza has got me whooped. I've done it twice and I failed twice, and I don't like failing. And then, oh man, it's like a rabbit hole I don't even want to go down, but I feel like I need to go down it because there's pizza ovens out there now. Pellet grills have pizza oven attachments along with pizza stones. I'm like
$150 for those attachments. I was kind of curious of how well they are.
Well, when I create a good dough, I'll finally figure it out because I don't think it's fair for the pizza attachment, but I can't make the dough.
so Little Caesars did that pretzel pizza, right? And then they took it away. It's like, my daughter's boyfriend just absolutely loves it, just like me. It's just, I mean, it's blue collar food. Who cares? Gives you the crabs, you go home, dump it, and go.
We're Domino fans.
Right. Well, we eat a lot, and that's because of lack of choices. I'm not too much keen on it anymore because of how much we do eat it. But I hate Pizza Hut. But I made a pretzel dough, and
Oh, good old pizza pan. I loved Pizza Hut's pan pizza
yeah.
back in the
Crispy
day.
edge.
Well,
You used to be able to dine in.
back in the day,
You could
yeah,
dine in at a Pizza Hut.
yeah, back in
And
the
get the
day,
salad bar.
yeah.
In the salad bar, yeah.
But we have emos here, and back, they don't do it too much since the COVID
Oh yeah, the
stuff.
Provel cheese.
Yep, since the
You ever
COVID.
tried that? Provel cheese?
I mean, yeah, but not on a pizza.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Provel.
No, Provel.
That's
It's a St.
the
Louis
St.
cheese.
Louis cheese.
Uh-uh.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's a processed cheese of cheddar, Swiss, and then what's the other cheese in there? Provolone, I
Yeah.
think.
Provolone.
Then they emulsify it or add that stuff in there, and they produce this cheese out of it.
Is it still
And it's-
available?
Yeah, but I mean, it's particularly you can get it in St. Louis,
Huh.
but that's how it started in the 50s. They came up with this cheese for the pizza. So
No, I didn't know
that's
that.
what makes our
Yeah.
makes our
Talk
pizza
about
unique.
talking about culinary history and food.
But
Well,
It's
and
crazy.
that,
it's a great cheese. It melts really good, so it's like good on like I love using like on Philly cheesesteaks and
I
stuff
just
like
assumed
that.
the cheddar would separate in that high temperature, but
Well, they had that stuff in there. What's
I
that
forgot
stuff
what it was
called?
called.
that
either.
citric that yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Citric.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
like American cheese, the shredded or cheddar cheese, American cheese. That there's a I know what you're talking about.
That's what it's the same process like making American cheese.
I got you.
Yep.
I think they should do an American and cheddar blend. I can't believe
Yeah.
grocery stores haven't come up with that.
Well, I go through some
You
shredded
get
cheese.
God, what's that cheese brand? It's
I can't believe
like
so many
East
people
Coast.
hate on American cheese. Have you ever done a burger on video and seen like the comments come down like that's disgusting to use American cheese? And I'm like, do you know where I live?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean it's disgusting? Like, I mean, is it like? I mean, what do you mean? I didn't
You're not
know
from
it was-
America if you don't like that.
God Almighty! Like,
It's as American as it can get.
Yeah.
American cheese on bread. I mean, it's made for each
I
other.
mean, I do go the deluxe route. It's not like I get the individually wrapped. I like spend a little bit more for the deluxe wrap, but still, I mean, it's like I
hate the individually wrapped cheese. God, I hate it.
God, just the hate.
I buy the stuff from Restaurant Supply where you get the 4 blocks and it's
Oh
separate.
yeah.
120
Not-
slices at a time.
Not
Because
our
American
house.
cheese lasts forever. So
Yeah.
I hate unwrapping cheese. Pisses me off.
Well,
That's probably
I
coming
don't
from
know
working in
about the texture of
restaurants.
the flavor. I think the deluxe is better. I've got an argument with somebody said,
Well, yeah, that's probably better. You can buy a premium craft that's not wrapped.
Yeah.
if you can find
that's
it.
typically what we buy.
Yeah, it's like $20 for
We
a
just
little
we
package.
just get the Kraft unwrapped cheese. I know you're gonna, but that's what we got.
They came out with like that company came out with all those creamy blends. I don't know if it's Sargento or another company. No, now you can buy like creamy shredded cheese that's supposed to be
Oh, yeah.
creamier. But I still
Yeah,
can't
the
believe
milk.
they haven't come out with American cheddar blend. I mean, I'd buy it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially for as popular as burgers are and stuff like that. I mean, that'd be perfect. So, I don't know.
So the burgers. Have you ever deep dived into the hamburger? Back in the the 40s and 50s or whatever, 30s.
I mean, I think yeah. I mean, I think it's more regional. You look at the ones in like that company that puts burgers in a toaster.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's supposed to be the original hamburger.
Yeah.
Well, but you
like
you might have
in Connecticut or somewhere.
you might have Crystals. We have White Castle.
We do have crystals.
Yeah, you guys got Crystals, and they're not the same company, but they're the same.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at hot dogs. I just went down this rabbit hole of hot dogs. I know it sounds crazy. It's just a hot dog. Holy crap. Everything from like pork only to beef pork and beef blend, everything from a hot wiener, everything from a boiled hot dog, from a deep fried hot dog, from a splitter versus a ripper versus a griddle hot dog versus the combination of boiled and griddled. That's just the base. We're not even talking about the bun.
A
And then
corn
you got
dog.
the regionality of like the California, the dog. Then you got the one in California too, or in Arizona. Then you got the one like where there's. My mind was blown. I'm like, it just is another
Oh yeah,
example
hot dogs are crazy.
of what like just how regional food can be. One was like macaroni and cheese. The other one was like the Carolina style slaw dog with pulled pork, and slaw with dressing on the side. The other one, the obviously Greeks had a huge, and the Italians had a huge in part of America, when they come through Ellis Island and stuff like that. So if you just look up what Nathan's, their chili sauce, the Coney dog was like Greek inspired. And then there's another guy out of Texas that did something where he wanted to like try his Italian marinara sauce style on a hot dog, but then he ended up changing it, but didn't like the name. So he used like spicy Texas sauce or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is unbelievable. So, and it's just the base of a hot dog. And people argue over a hot dog, bacon wrapped, non-bacon wrapped, Nathan's or Johnsonville or what's the one that starts with an S?
Oh, yeah, we don't have them here. It's
we don't either. Anyway,
Tabra.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But golly, it's just
it's popular in New York. Yeah,
it's food. I'm telling you, these people just go nuts. And I'm like, golly,
I'm
talking about an Oscar Mayer and a bun.
Speaking of hot dogs and buns, do you ever watch the channel Ballistic Barbecue?
I do. Well, I mean, if I don't watch anybody unless I'm doing research, and I let the computer just generate because I do try to get ideas. I don't have enough time. There's just not like.
Well, I was just watching one of his videos where there's some chain out in California, Arizona out there, and I thought it was really cool is they use Hawaiian rolls for buns. So they'll take 3 Hawaiian rolls and then slice it, and they use it for this hot dog chain. And then for their burgers, they take 4 Hawaiian rolls and slice it.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, and they toast it on the sides, kind of like a New England style.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man,
that's pretty
Doug,
cool.
you just made me a fantastic idea. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah.
The Hawaiian roll, lobster roll.
Yeah.
The sweetness from the wine, if you butter and toast it, then you can do like lobster. And oh my God, put that on the list of things. Don't make that before I make it now. Stuff now.
Well,
that sounds fantastic.
If you make it by the time, Doug, you better tell him. Go.
I won't make it
Doug.
before then. I've got. God,
no, don't worry about me. I'm not a seafood guy. I make 0 seafood videos.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I just bought. So when I was growing up, I liked potato bread, and I found some potato hamburger buns. So I grabbed me a thing of those because I want to try the hamburger buns with the potato bread instead of just regular hamburger buns. Because the first cook I did on that 36-inch, I used the pretzel buns. So what I'm thinking I'm going to probably end up using if I do because I did a poll and we're at 40% on breakfast or smash burgers. So I'm still waiting to see where I land at on that thing, but I'm going to use the potato breads, I think.
I can't find a potato bun in St. Louis to save my life.
Buzz Barbecue. What's an Okie?
What?
Those here. Like the original Oklahoma burgers made of like a potato bun, like a Martin's potato. I think Martin's probably.
Yeah, Martin's. I have to buy them online.
I've never tasted one. They don't have them here. I've never tasted one.
Yeah,
it's got 8 buns in it.
So they swear up and down it makes a big difference. But I've been on that brioche kick for a while.
I don't like brioche buns though. I'm not a fan of them.
Really?
Do you have a Sam's Club?
Yeah.
Are you a member there, Neal?
No, Costco.
So Sam's, I just seen they do. Speaking of brioche, so they have brioche slider buns that are they bake there, but kind of like Hawaiian rolls are all connected, but they're brioche buns. I've seen them. That's pretty cool.
I'm just not a fan. I don't know why. I just don't like them. I don't know why.
What, brioche?
Yeah.
Like that and like challah bread.
Yeah.
I love good bread. It's hard to find good bread though. Like when you make it like you did, you bought, I bought them too. The Amoroso rolls,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a pizza place. These guys are from East Coast, whatever, and they got a couple in St. Louis, but they get them shipped in, but they'll sell you the Amoroso rolls, because they buy them by the case. So anytime Amoroso rolls, they'll sell me a bag.
Absolutely. I was going to say, we bought we had to buy that huge pack, and we freeze them like most bread. But I'm telling you, the longer they sit in the freezer, the worse they got. Like the moisture escaped the bread, and then like the ice crystals formed and dropped, and then you got like a whole bag of ice in the bottom. And then when you go to thaw it out, there's no moisture in there, so then they become like extremely dry.
You got to use them up. That's the problem.
Yeah, in a hurry.
That's why I just buy them from this guy. I can buy a bag or 2 bags, whatever I need.
Yeah. We had this really quick. I'll probably get off about 6 minutes. We had this barbecue. We don't have like the world's greatest barbecue around here. It's not because people can't do it. there's just not a lot of success of barbecue here. But there's a food truck called Smoke Pipple Barbecue. We had that the other day. It's a food truck. It was one of the better barbecues that we've had across the country. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
So give a shout out to whoever that is. Smoked Pickle. That was a great, fantastic name.
Oh, there you go, Peter.
Is that Buckberry? What's that called?
It's a brownberry.
We're not a brownberry either.
Yeah. Oh no, I saw them today at Walmart this morning.
We'll try them out.
And
Let
I'm
us
like,
know what you
I'm going to
think.
grab them because I used to love the potato bread.
Hell, even bread is regional.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's like, golly. So I want to be like I want to go like cross country. You know, like if I really didn't have to work, you know, just experience like the cultures and the cuisines and like the grocery stores. You know, just like how convenient certain stuff is. Like we did Jamaican jerk, but we couldn't find what's the not the habanero pepper, the one the next to it, Scotch bonnets. We couldn't find Scotch bonnets anywhere. You know, like I mean, and then you go to like
you're trying to make
Mexico, and you've always got those green chilies, you know, and all that stuff, and
that's green chilies.
Yeah,
it's like West Coast.
Yeah,
like Todd Tobin, he always goes. He does a video where he's at somewhere where he lives in Colorado. They have a big hatch green festival, and they have the big tumblers and they're fire roasting them and the street. Yeah. But yeah, don't have them here. Speaking of hot dogs, like St. Louis is not a hot dog town. There's very few hot dog restaurants.
If you end up out in San Diego, go to a place called the Waffle Spot. That I'm not a waffle guy. That is the best waffles I've ever had.
I think when you think hot dogs, you think foot traffic, right? I mean, you just think people just walking around. I think that's why they're, you know, even if they're standalone stores, I don't know if there's that many successful. I'm talking about across the country, standalone style hot dog only. So
I think more West Coast they are. It seems like
standalones.
Like that one chain that uses Hawaiian rolls because they're mainly hot dogs and sausages their main thing, but they have burgers too. But they're standalones. They got 50-something locations.
I got you.
Yeah, it seems bigger out that way. But if you watch any videos of different places, they're always out in California.
These
hot dog joints. But
I enjoy the history of it too.
Is it because it's easier to process in some of those regions and they just can't do certain things, or
I think they like hot dogs out there for whatever reason.
I guess they like their wieners.
Or so in St. Louis likes hot dogs. Maybe because people have tried doing hot dog restaurants. A lot of them.
Maybe it's just the weather. You know, it's so much more. You know, like when you talk about people walking around in foot traffic, maybe it's just one of those like, you know, who wants a hot dog when it's cold? That's like not the first thing I think of.
Like we had this pretty big band out of St. Louis called the Urge. They're all kind of alternative rock band. And then anyways, that the lead singer, he's got a hot dog place in the city.
Oh wow.
He does very well, but everybody knows him because he's, you know, the band he was in. But yeah.
Here I'll say, you know, when it's cold, who wants a hot dog? And you're thinking about Cincinnati and Cincinnati Skyline Chili and all that stuff. So there goes that theory.
Yeah.
And Coney Island. I mean,
Island.
So let's scratch that.
Was it? Is it Minnesota? Where's the two Coney places in Minnesota? Is it Minnesota where the two places been there since like the 1900s?
I don't know.
There's two of them that duel. There's like American Coney or American and something else.
Really?
That's been around forever.
I know that you know, when they came over and first started, two brothers got into it and then they separated off, and then that's how you.
I think it's in Minnesota.
But I didn't know there's two stores. Yeah.
Like Greek. Yeah.
When I ran a Philly tea shop on another side back in Maryland, I drove Philly twice a week to pick up fresh Omarosa 18-inch bowl. Yep. I can see why. Oh, I did the Omarosa like I thought I was doing the right thing, right? Or I scoured the earth, looked at the shipping from Amazon, finally found them, bought the Omarosa rolls, made a cheesesteak, and they're like, "That's not a Philly. Those Omarosa rolls suck." You know, like, you should try this roll. And I'm like, my God, you know, 4,000 comments earlier said Omarosa roll. Now I get Omarosa roll, and they're like, "You suck."
They're still better than St. Louis and most of the bread you can get.
That's what I was telling them. Like,
because we don't have any good durable. We don't have any good durable bread that's got that chewy exterior that holds up. Yeah. You know,
it really reminds you of like an Italian loaf in a roll style. Like it does have that like dense, but light and airy and crispy and all that stuff. I can see why they enjoy it. But you're right. I mean, even as bad as it quote unquote is, it's still 10 times better than what we have.
Yeah. Sometimes you're
I mean, we
limited.
just- yeah.
So
And then as older I got, the more of a bread snob I am. You know, when I was younger, I could care less. I just throw whatever on whatever bread, you know. But it's like now, like bread's so important to me. It's weird. It's very weird. I don't know why, but it's like I want the quality shit.
well, but back. I mean, I don't know. I mean, everybody's got their differences. But when we grew up, we were broke, so we were just happy to get whatever we got. You know.
Well, yeah, when I was younger, I could care less. I mean,
The loaf of white
on
bread,
anything.
the one slice of white bread in our house did everything. Everything from biscuits and
hot
gravy
dog bun.
to butter and bread to a hot dog bun, a hamburger bun.
SOS.
Yes. All your salads. If we had meatloaf and Granny didn't make biscuits or dinner rolls, she'd throw out the white bread and say, "There you go." I mean, it's just meatloaf sandwiches, pinto beans and bread. You know, and people were like, just shocked at, like, you know, I think, you know, my smash burger video, I'm like, I'm just going to bring it back to old days. We put it on like a lightly toasted piece of bread and just ruined everybody's appetite. And I'm like, that's how we grew up. Like we didn't have, I mean, hamburger buns and hot dog buns were a luxury. Like the white bread, you used the heel to the heel. Like we even used the heel. You know,
I mean, we used to use the regular bread on the hot dogs. They didn't have hot dog buns.
Hey, wrap it around.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's all we did. You know, you threw the ketchup and the mustard and the relish, and you just folded it up and then threw it in your mouth.
Absolutely,
that was it. So,
that's hilarious.
I don't know.
Guys, it's 9 o'clock for me. I'm gonna head out.
Good. I sent you a link to that Refurb This Turd so you can check that out. When it starts to get a little bit warmer, I'm going to reach out to those people because one of them has the old Blackstone that's like your Camp Chef where the troughs in the front.
God, that reminds me of Doug's. I wonder if you could actually put that on like a resale site like Facebook or something like that and be like, Blackstone Antique, I know what it's worth. You know, like the original, you know, and like it's signed or something, you know, like that'd be pretty neat.
Well, she sent me a picture and I said, well, that's either one of the first generation Blackstones or it's a Camp Chef. And then she sent me another picture and it's got the Blackstone right in the front. It's like I knew it was one of the two. You know,
original Blackstones had round cast iron burners.
Did they?
Before they went to the stainless steel tubes.
Really?
Old school Blackstones, yep. Back in the 08, or how old was that? Way back in the day.
Well, when I get a hold of her, we'll see which one it is because I didn't get that in depth in the pictures.
I think you got a great idea, Ryan, with that. I think that's going to do well for you.
Start a business.
Well, so going back, and I'll let you go. You know, I'm sorry. Going back to the oven seasoning, I've actually designed a homemade oven for the 36 and the 27-inch griddles to season them in an oven, but it's a homemade oven. I've designed it. I just got to get it built.
Oh, okay.
I got to get it built.
$20,000 to get it designed and built.
I designed it myself. I'll build a prototype, and if the shit works, if the shit works, then I'll go talk to my stepdad, and because he's got a tool and die shop, and we'll just start in on the.
Well, that would be neat.
On the, you know, and go from there.
Yeah,
but I gotta see if it'll work first. But you know, it's something.
An oven would work regardless. I mean,
well, right,
but those walk-in ovens, commercial kitchens. I mean, they make.
Or if you go to a pizza place, the deck ovens, the brick deck ovens.
Okay, but that's $10,000. I don't. Yeah.
Those things are wide enough. You could probably do 2 36s.
I mean, I've priced out.
A4, they're pretty deep.
I've priced out this prototype, and it might cost me maybe $75 to $100. So we'll see what happens. You know, you don't need.
You can build it out of like mud out back.
Yeah,
like you know, rural country.
Well, it's still snowing. Well, it's not snowing here.
Cinder blocks.
Make an igloo. No, I've got something designed in the works. I'm just trying to figure out some more stuff on it, but I'm going to see if it works.
Earlier, I was out here in a t-shirt. Now my breath, you can see my breath.
Well, it's supposed to be 80 here tomorrow, isn't it?
Oh, geez.
It was
Oh,
it was 80 here today.
So,
nice.
It's right around the corner, guys.
yep.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yep.
Well, I
Still got
appreciate
this
it. I
month.
really
All
do.
right. No,
Really do.
I think we appreciate you coming on. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully you'd be interested in coming back on again. And I know you're a busy man. So
This summer is definitely going to be busy. You guys will see that for sure.
Mhm.
We have a lot of things planned. We've talked to a lot of companies, and personally, I think that we're going to be able to do some stuff this year that we never been able to do before. That's just going to get us out of our comfort zone, and looking forward to it. It's going to be about 4 weeks of nothing but either pleasure or pain. But whatever it is, we're going to film it regardless. So I'm looking
Fair
forward
enough.
to it.
Are you getting the new Weber
Oh yeah,
carbon steel?
yeah. That's a guarantee. There's no way that's going to slip through the fingers.
Now, that's pretty cool for all the people who live in Florida that their shit rust out.
Well,
Yeah. They claim it won't rust,
Yep.
Yeah, because everybody in those humid areas,
so
they struggle.
so look into how bad that new camping Blackstone's going to be, because we just ruined it for you. I'm sorry.
I know. I wanted it.
I
and then
did
found
too.
out it was
And then
non-stick.
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a bitch.
Right.
I just can't believe that. God,
That's the greatest little compact
so
design.
it's aluminum with the non-stick top, and it's like I just don't get it.
I thought I may still get one. I don't know.
Well, you know what?
Just in the camper, I won't use it. I won't use it like on a regular
I'll
basis.
get it. I'll get it. Make the video, and then I'll send it back.
You return it.
I mean,
Yeah, you don't have to
hey,
season it.
hey, that was 90% of my tech channel for the first year. I'd buy the crap, freaking do a review, and then send it back.
The best part is you return it and use that in the video. Taking it back.
So,
No questions asked, return, pal. Say,
That's
here
right.
you
So,
go. Dump that thing off the back.
well, you know what's funny is that griddle I bought this morning, it was $38, and when I checked out, it asked me if I wanted the warranty with it. Well, the warranty stuff covers the full price. I'm like, how do you ask me for that when it's $38? So I don't know. Anyway, hey, also Neal, if you guys have any tech questions, just feel free to message. You know how to get a hold.
Yes, sir.
So
All
right.
Geese flying.
huh?
Geese are flying. It's 9
Oh,
o'clock at
yeah.
night here.
Yep.
Oh well.
Get the shotgun out. That's the next cook.
That's right. I did that short when I saw that little buck last summer. I was like, couple more years, you'll be tasty.
Before we started social media, before we lived in this house, I was trying to get into bow hunting, and we were renting a house, like 10, 15 acres, something like that. And there was another house on the property. And I was out there getting ready for it and all that stuff. And I was trying to get Amy to film me so I could really see what I was doing wrong, because it's hard for you to imagine what you're doing wrong until you see it.
Yeah.
Bucks and does 10 yards from the damn the target I was shooting at.
Really?
Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, it's not bow season, middle of the summer. I'm like, I didn't do anything illegal, but I'm like, I guarantee during hunting season, I won't be able to find any of these son of a guns. And sure enough, I never did. And there they are, all lined up, all 7 of them between bucks and does. And I'm like, just walking around while I'm out there just haphazardly shooting my bow, making all kinds of noise. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
You know what that's called? The deers turn into birds and they fly everywhere.
You guys take it easy.
All right, Neal. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, that was fun.
That was fun. How you doing? Rob?
Good. How you doing?
you sat there just nice and quiet.
I know. I sat here for 2 hours.
Enjoy. Well, hell, we were on here for 3 hours last, and I'm surprised he stayed on that long.
Yeah, I was too.
Now, how long did you stay on? 2 hours. So
2 hours.
about
Well,
a little over 2
I'm going to end the stream here. I thank everybody in here for coming. Unless you guys are wanting to stay on.
No, I'm done.
I know you're done. You were done. You were done an hour ago.
Super clean.
Yeah.
Super clean.
That was it was good to have him on. I learned a lot from Neal, so that's good stuff.
Well, he's
Nice job, Brian.
he's good. Who? What?
You.
What?
Nice job getting him on.
Oh, I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Well, it wasn't me. It wasn't Doug.
I'm not taking.
What's that?
I'm not taking the credit for
Oh,
it.
hey, you got a hold
Neal
of it.
on. No, it was good to have him. It was good.
Yeah, he's good people.
Yeah.
Good people. So,
All
right, guys. So, I hopefully I think next week we're gonna get a hold of Annie. Annie's, I tell you what, that Annie feels special because that was a great replacement for you.
Yeah, Annie, get better. We
Uh-huh.
still got to get Jay.
Happy birthday tomorrow. And
Birthday, Annie. We got to get Jay from Buzz Barbecue on too. That'd be
well, you know what? I emailed him. I think he's in here. I sent him an email. I need to figure out a different way to talk to you. Than email. So
yeah, I agree. What do you got, Jay? If you're still here, we gotta figure that out.
Yep.
Jay would be a lot of fun to have on, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He said he set up the Restream stuff. So
okay.
But if I mean I emailed him, but I didn't get a response, and then Doug had something last minute last week. So
yeah,
no biggie. But we'll have him on, and we'll keep pushing. I mean, it sounds like I guess I'm the one that's, and that's I have no problem with it. I'm not. I'm not saying this is for a bad thing. It's just I guess I'm the liaison for the for the live stream stuff. I'm the one responsible for getting these people on. So and I'm fine with that. I don't mind.
Oh, bust his ass. When am I up next?
Well, and he put an LOL on the end of it. Well, we got to get Annie on here. Annie was supposed to be here last week.
Better, we'll get Annie and then hopefully Jay.
Then Jay.
You all right with that?
But Jay, I need a better way of communication than email.
Yeah, maybe carrier pigeon or something like that.
Yeah, or the Titanic, one of the two.
Well, he said he had Facebook Messenger, but
you gave me the name, and I can't. There's like a million of those names on there.
I had the same thing. I picked one message and I didn't hear anything back. So
it was probably not him.
No, probably not.
So, if so, Jay, if you want, you got my email. You can email me your phone number, and we can text back and forth. That would probably be the best. Because I'm going to be honest. I don't look at that email every single day.
Me neither.
I'm the worst at the email thing. So
my wife will grab my phone and take care of my emails for me.
So, all right. I appreciate everybody coming in. We will see you on the next one. And I think we are out.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right. See you, Rob.
See you guys.
Bye, Rob.
As Rob would say, peace.
Peace.
I'm going to end the stream.